Alrighty, we are live. Sorry for the bit of a delay. I had to deal with some things stream-wise. There was a bit of news and a bit of picture permissions that came up pretty recently, so I had to get that taken care of before we got the stream started. So that's just kind of what happened there. But of course, very happy to be doing this. And with that being said, I'll just get right into it. So welcome everyone to Coaster Time episode 38, hosted by me, Carrick from Coaster Hour. And today, of course, we are doing a special viewer call-in episode. And how that works is, if you haven't done it, is that after I give the news, I will pin the StreamYard link in the chat. That is the sort of software we're going to be using for people to be calling in. So that is going to be the plan there. I will have a StreamYard link in the chat, and you can come on the stream. Whether you have camera or not doesn't matter. You can come in and give your thoughts on the most recent announcements that I'm going to be going into during the news segment. But before we do all that, we're going to be doing a 10-minute Q&A segment, just so we can get some people in before we really get the stream started with the news. So with that being said, 10-minute Q&A, which will stop at 1:25 Eastern. And yeah, so any questions you have for me, let me know. I also have visited Disney California Adventure since the last stream, so if you have any questions related to that, let me know. But any questions will do. So there you go. Frontier Coasters, okay, your Imperial Coasters, good to know. I'll remember that. And also thanks for letting me know. You've been such a loyal viewer, so good to see the new name change. So that is very nice to see. Yeah, I know you're Coaster Bros. I saw you in the chat, and I know you did a name change. So yeah, I know it's you. And yeah, your phone, that'll work perfect. As long as connection's good. People have done that before, so it's no issue. I think it works with StreamYard, I'm pretty sure, so that should work just fine. India's #1 coaster enthusiast, hello. Mr. Cola Roaster, hi. Coaster Dash, former Coaster Time guest in the chat, how are you doing? I've been loving watching your European videos, the European countdowns, and I've seen some of the vlogs. I haven't gotten through all of them, but it's all been really good to watch. So for anyone who hasn't seen Coaster Dash's content in general, and especially his European trip content, I'd highly recommend it. Really cool. So wanted to say that. And we have our first question. How was Incredicoaster? I've done it before, and interestingly enough, I wrote it in 2018, which was its opening year, I believe, or reopening year. I believe they retracked certain portions of it, and on this most recent visit, it was noticeable, I would say. It does feel shakier in certain sections than it used to. It did get to my friend a bit, who I went with. Apparently, a few days after, he didn't feel so good. So that's obviously not great. But it's still a really fun ride. And one of the better rides at California Adventure. Just really fun, long ride. The launch is pretty good, the first launch. Nothing too intense, but still very fun. The first drop is actually pretty underrated. There's some sort of airtime hills toward the end that actually do give a little bit of airtime, which is nice, and the whole ride is just a very fun experience with the incredible soundtrack. So it's a very fun ride overall. Not my favorite coaster at the Disneyland Resort, but it is definitely one of the better rides at the resort. It's in my top 10, and I actually do want to release a video ranking my top 10 rides there. I haven't done a countdown video in so long, but I want to do that for Disneyland because I think I have some interesting opinions there. So yeah, is Disney California Adventure worth it? Fortunately, I mean, it's still expensive because it's a Disney park. It was $104 a person the day I went, which is about as low as it goes. And I think for the day we had, I would say it was worth it. 23 rides in total. There were actually a decent bit of crowds. I will say that, and we kind of had to maneuver our way around the park, trying to find when rides were less busy and stuff like that. So there was certainly some of that, but it was a very good visit. My friend who had never been It was fun for him to go check it out. I had never done Adventures Campus, and I had not really gotten night rides on like Incredicoaster or Radiator Springs Racers before, so that was extremely fun. And I would say it was a good time. I will say the Avengers Campus area didn't really impress me that much. I liked Web Slingers. That was a fun ride. We actually had the high score for the day when we did it early in the morning. That record got killed pretty quick, but that was a little fun. That was pretty fun. The area as a whole isn't honestly that amazing. The Hank Pym's kitchen is alright, but the area is, in its entirety didn't impress me. Also, the animatronic Spider-Man thing was pretty cool, but pretty short. So, of course, the one that a few months ago it had that viral fail. That's the one I'm referring to. It worked as normal when we watched. Disney or Universal? I've only done the California stuff, so for that reason, I would say Disney pretty easily. For me, especially Disneyland. Disneyland is my #1 park I've ever been to. California Adventure and Universal Hollywood are a good bit, like a lot lower than that. But I would still say I prefer Disney based off the California parks. When I go to Florida, that could change, but we'll see what happens there. Alrighty, for Top Thrill Dragster's future, could it be an upgrade or an extended layout? I think I have an unpopular opinion at this point. There's just been a lot of weird things. Of course, I'm sure most of you have heard about that rumor that El Toro Ryan put out about how Intamin was not working with Cedar Point for Top Thrill Dragster, which at first I thought was completely insane. However, actually, I need to fix the camera. I realize this is blocking a little bit the question. But anyways, for Top Thrill Dragster, Intamin actually removed the coaster from their website, which is extremely strange because even for defunct coasters, they usually keep them up. Like Wicked Twister and Volcano the Blast coaster still remain on Intamin's website, but Top Thrill Dragster is like completely gone. It used to be under their LSM launch portfolio, which is weird, but all the accelerators were there, so they just kind of put it in with it. But it's been completely removed, so that kind of does line up with that rumor a little bit. And the other part of it was supposedly they are no longer liable for the attraction, which removing it off the website would make sense if that was the case. Might be reading into it a little too much, but to be honest, what I'm trying to get this to is, if Intamin's not involved, I have a very hard time believing they would actually pursue a project to upgrade it or extend it. I think Dragster is going to be like pretty much removed for all intents and purposes, and the next attraction will pay homage to it. Like I said, pretty unpopular opinion right now. I used to think it might get a swing launch or something like that, but I think they are indeed actually going to remove it, even with all the weird wording. But I could be wrong. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. We also saw some launch track get removed, but it's so early in the process that you can't really be sure about anything with Top Thrill Dragster right now. Yeah, Disney parks, exactly. They look so good, and they can be quite good, but yeah, not so good for the bank account. That's exactly what it is. Let's see. I've been to Universal Orlando. It's awesome. You have to check out the Wizarding World and go to Volcano. I have done the Wizarding World at Universal Studios Hollywood. But I know, of course, the one in Orlando is larger, and you also have Diagon Alley, so, that's a big thing. And then I haven't done Volcano Bay. I don't know. That park I've heard is super frustrating to visit. It would be pretty tricky to include it, to be honest, on a trip, but maybe I could make it work. I know their water coaster looks really good, so yeah, I have no idea. I'm not sure how many coasters there are in Poland, so, and also, Thanks for the nice compliment. That means quite a bit. If yeah, for being like someone, even like someone's like, for anyone watching, I mean, I'm very appreciative. So that's all I have to say there. Yeah, Gemini's just chilling. I hope it saves. I mean, it's not like one of my all-time favorite coasters, but I think it's a really good ride. So that is something that I hope stays. SeaWorld San Diego is gonna do their Intamin family launch coaster. We kind of already know that's happening, so that's what they're building next. There's already track on site. It's already confirmed basically. Rumors are going to announce it next week. We'll see if that actually happens. But yeah, there you go. So that is what they're gonna build next. Beyond that, I have no idea. The park's super landlocked, so only time will tell. Already, we are at 10:23 a.m. So any 10:23 my time, 1:23 Eastern. Any last questions? Get them in the next 2 minutes here, and there you go. There's no way there's the amount of coasters in Poland is 69. I mean, I guess it could be. I could look it up on RCDB real quick, but that is that seems unlikely. Is all I'll say. After Wild Mouse, do you think Cedar Point's next coaster could be themed to the former Cyclone from the same park? No, I think they're gonna do. I think whatever the next project is related to Dragster in some way. So I'm gonna say no for that reason. But yeah, I'm curious. I'm going looking at RCDV if that's right. I have to look up existing coasters. Yep, that's right. Okay. I don't know why. I just thought it was a joke. I thought they had more like it was in the 40s. Was also the other thing. So that's really weird. Gemini should be redone by GCI to get new. I don't think so. I mean, and also like GCI can work on the structure, but like, what are they? They can't really do anything when it comes with the comes to the track. I don't think like that would be. I think it's in pretty good shape right now, but granted, I only wrote it like once a few years ago, so yeah. But anyways, alrighty, so it's 10:25 a.m. my time, and so we're gonna go right into the news. If you have any questions, I'll have a final Q&A segment toward the end, but we're gonna get right into the news. Maybe this. Oh wait, okay, never mind. I know what happened. Okay, I figured it out. Can you hear me now? I think I figured it out. What the issues is. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I figured it out. I did something I don't. I accidentally kicked myself out of the stream, like removed myself off the tab, and forgot that that is what in order to put the news up, and that's what took the audio out. So that's good. Let me just make sure the audio is in the right place. Yeah, it's on Yeti, so that's good. Anyways, back to the news. I guess I'll just start from the top because that's probably all that got out. But anyways, we have our ride openings. We have Ice Age Expedition Thin Ice, which is a new dark ride at Genting SkyWorlds. That is just opened. You have Screaming Eagles at Fun Spot Atlanta. That is just opened. That is your Flying Scooters flat ride. And then you have Bravest Warrior at Zhuzhou Paradise in China. Sorry if I butchered that, which is a Blue Fire clone. I couldn't get a picture of it I could use, so this Blue Fire picture will have to do. But those 3 coasters have just opened recently, so those are your ride openings. I've never made that mistake before in terms of the audio situation, so I don't know why I did right now, but oh well. And then in terms of ride reopenings, you have Tidal Twister. It went down for a long period of time again this year, but it has reopened, so hopefully they're able to work out the kinks there and it can stay open. So, but it has reopened once again after a long sort of just period of being closed. And then you have your rides that have opening dates, not true opening dates, but you have like sort of time frames. Tron Lightcycle run at Magic Kingdom will open in spring of 2023. We'll get to more specific D23 announcements in a bit. And then you also have World of Frozen, specifically the one at Hong Kong Disneyland, which is slated for the second half of 2023. So those are your opening dates. Not too much there. But what we do have a lot of is construction updates. It is insane how much we have. So I'll actually take out the banner just so you can see the pictures here. But for construction updates, we have the Maurer Skyloop at Goombaya World in Australia. It is topped off. This is the Skyloop that was relocated from Dreamworld in Australia, which was formerly Buzzsaw. The Vekoma Suspended Family Coaster, also at the same park, is now vertical, so that is good to see. You have the B&M Wing Coaster at Chessington that is now gone vertical, as you can see with the support on the top right. You also have the B&M Surf Coaster at SeaWorld Orlando, which we'll get to a little more news with it in a little bit. That has also gone vertical with even some track being put there, so that is also good to see. And then you have Luna at Leesburg, which is their Vekoma Family Boomerang. That now has track on site. So those are only some of your construction updates. You also have these as well, as you can see here, but I'll take the banner off in just a second, just so you can have a better view of the pictures. A Jinma Rides invert at Neverland in Egypt has gone vertical. It is on the more thrilling side for that one. You have Mahaland in Poland, a new park of that sort of grouping of parks. It's owned by the Plopsa Group. Construction has begun and it is expected to open in 2024, quite ambitious. And it's even rumored to be getting a GCI wooden coaster. We'll see if that pans out. But along with that, we also have Zambezi Zinger at Worlds of Fun. Wood is on site, as you can see on the bottom right. You also have Bayern Curve at Knoebels. Construction has begun, which that's on the top right. And then you have the S&S Scream and Swing at Busch Gardens Tampa. That has gone vertical. Not vertical, actually. It is topped off. And then at Ride... No, not at Ride Playland. They got a ride from Ride Playland. Niagara Amusement Park, they have an SDC Zyklon, which used to be operating at a park called Kokomo's, if I pronounce that correctly. And they also are getting a Pinfari Dark Ride that has also gone vertical, which used to be called Flying Witch at Ride Playland. So a lot of construction updates there for those of you who are into that sort of thing. Next, we have ride tests, and we have Prairie Screamer and Aquaman Power Wave, two coasters that are less than 10 miles from each other, of course, in Texas. Prairie Screamer being at Traders Village and Aquaman Power Wave being at Six Flags Over Texas. Both have tested, so that is good to see. Prairie Screamer looks like it's pretty close to opening. Aquaman obviously is something that's coming next year, so we'll see where and when Prairie Screamer opens, but it seems to be pretty soon, so that is definitely good to see. Next, we have ride delays. ArieForce 1 has been delayed to 2023. The RMC booth advertised it as coming in 2023, so that is how we know, even though the actual park hasn't come out and said anything. That seems to be pretty concrete, so we'll see if that holds up. That seems to be the case. Not too surprising, to be honest. SeaWorld Abu Dhabi has been delayed to 2023. Pretty expected. It was going to be quite the battle for it to open this year, just with all the sort of construction it still had to go, or that was still left. And then you have Gozimba at Serengeti Park in Germany, which is, I believe, the world's first RES air loop, which was supposed to open this year. It has been delayed to 2023. It's basically like a skyfly and a coaster all in one. Very strange concept, but it does look pretty cool. So unfortunate it has to get delayed another year, but I imagine it'll be quite good when it opens. Next, we have ride closures. We got a lot here as well. Duel at Alton Towers has closed. That was, of course, their sort of shooting dark ride. Indiana River at Bobby on Land has also closed, with a major retheme coming in 2023 with the working title Mystery Volcano. That sort of artwork is there on the top right. You also have, Kieputin at Linnanmäki. I probably totally butchered that, but a flat ride in Denmark that is going to close for good toward the end of the year. Looks like a sort of a top spin sort of ride that is closing at the end of this year. And of course, we have Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point, which I actually have not talked about this at all yet. It is closed for good, but with the sort of weird wording of the announcement, they said it's closing as we know it, and that it will come back, not come back necessarily, but that the park is working on a new and reimagined ride experience. So this led many to believe it was going to be upgraded or just sort of kept in some way. I am a little more skeptical of that because, of course, now there's been a rumor that that Dragster isn't going to be involved with Intamin. I thought that was like sort of BS. But Intamin did remove the coaster off their website. Rumor also states that they are no longer liable for the coaster. That would seem to make sense to do if that was indeed the case. And for reference, other defunct coasters that Intamin has created, including Wicked Twister and Volcano the Blast coaster, still remain on their website, so them removing it is a very strange move. But, yeah. But anyways, yeah, so Dragster, we'll have to see what happens. I'm not so optimistic. I think it's going to be removed, and the next ride that replaces it is just going to be paying homage to it, but we'll see what happens. And then we also have another thing, which is Joyland Amusement Park is also, or has closed for good, assuming there is no viable offer by October 1st. It had operated from 1948 to 2022 and under, I believe, the Dean family for 1973 to 2022. So obviously a long run, but it is closing for good. Pretty small park in Texas, but it appears that it is indeed closing for good. Unless, of course, some offer comes up by October 1st, which seems extremely unlikely. So there you go. Next, we have Golden Ticket Awards, everyone's favorite. We have the Golden Ticket Award 2022 winners. I'm not going to go through all of them, but if you want to look at it, there are literally all the award winners right here. So for anyone who's interested in that, you can pause the frame, whether you're watching this later or just come back to this. Those are all the award winners. I'll just go through the significant ones. Best amusement park went to Europa Park as always. Best steel coaster went to Fury 325. Best wooden coaster went to Phoenix at Knoebels. And best new coaster went to Iron Gwazi. There are many other awards, of course, but those are sort of the, I guess, the ones that more people were paying attention to. No real surprises there. But yeah, those are the Golden Ticket Awards. Always interesting to kind of see what happens, even if I oftentimes disagree with at least some of the sort of decisions. But yeah, so that's the Golden Ticket Awards. We also had D23, and along with that, D23 had some park announcements, which is good to see. So we had some for Disneyland California Resort, which is reflected in this slide. They are getting their Fisherman's Wharf at California Adventure rethemed to San Francisco from Big Hero 6. That is on the bottom left. We also got some new concept art for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which you could also apply to the Magic Kingdom version as well. The actual model, though, was of the Disneyland version because it only had the one person per row instead of the two people. So that's how you know it's a Disneyland one. So you got model and art for that. There was also some artwork for Toontown at Disneyland shown, as you can see on the top right. And of course, the big thing here is that there was a new Thanos multiverse attraction that was sort of announced that's coming to Avengers Campus at Disney California Adventure. Not too much is known about it other than it will incorporate the multiverse into it, and you will be fighting against a character called the King Thanos. But yeah, there you go. Next, you have the Disney World announcements. Tron will open at Magic Kingdom in spring of 2023. So there is that. You also have the Journey of Water, which is Moana inspired. Going to Epcot, that will open in late 2023. So those are some of your announcement dates. And then you have some announcements that are not exactly completely confirmed, but they mentioned it, so I might as well go into it. They mentioned that they are considering making an area behind Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Magic Kingdom, and specifically they were eyeing the idea of having an Encanto, Coco, and Disney Villains themed area. And so that's sort of in development, but if it doesn't happen, don't be too surprised. They didn't say it was like truly confirmed happening, but they said it was something they were considering. And then they're also considering Moana and Zootopia themed areas in order to replace Dinoland USA at Animal Kingdom. More, they wanted to get across that they are planning to replace Dinoland USA at some point at Animal Kingdom. So those are your Disney World announcements. Next you have your Tokyo Disneyland announcements. Models and art for Tangled, Peter Pan, and the Tinkerbell ride were revealed for Tokyo Disney Sea. They also revealed more artwork for that Fantasy Springs area, as you can see on the left. Although that's actually something that they have revealed previously, but why not just show it again? And they also revealed a new piece of Space Mountain art for Tokyo Disneyland, showing it at night. It looks really good, the new building. So that'll definitely be a project worth monitoring, even if it's not opening anytime soon, like it is 5 years away, which is just crazy to think about. For Disneyland Paris, you have new concept art for a new area called Central Avenue and Tangled Gardens, which is in development, which will have Tangled Teacups. This will be going to Walt Disney Studios. So that's what they revealed there. And they also revealed some more art for their Frozen Land area that's eventually coming to Walt Disney Studios, but they didn't give a timeline for it. Next, we have Hong Kong Disneyland. They have shown more art for their World of Frozen, and also, of course, World of Frozen will open in the second half of 2023. And they showed a model for Wandering Oaken's sliding sleighs. So that's pretty much that there. And then our last thing is Shanghai Disneyland. They revealed a model for a vehicle for their Zootopia ride and video of their animatronic for the attraction, which was interesting. And we also have this new piece of concept art for the area, for the Zootopia land going there in the near future. So those are your D23 announcements. You also had IAAPA Europe happen. Intamin had a lot of concepts. They either revealed these are like new concepts they revealed completely, or they're concepts that they've kind of elaborated on a little more, which include a motion tower, which is that top left crazy looking screen based ride that if you watch the video, it actually looks really cool. I have a link to the video in the description, so make sure to check that out if you have the time. They also have a new 35-meter vertical LSM coaster, which is that thing on the bottom left, which is definitely pretty crazy looking. The hang time on that one inversion looks really insane, so really wacky looking layout. You also have the booster launched log flume, which is a new log flume concept that can incorporate a launch essentially, which is pretty wild. Might be something we see with the new SeaWorld San Antonio log flume, so that definitely would be pretty exciting if that's the case, but we'll have to wait and see if that comes true. You also have some new family launch shuttle layouts and concepts that include a spinning and a non-spinning train. And then you also have something called a family lift and launch, which will be a family coaster that incorporates both a lift and a launch coaster. So there you go. A lot of stuff from Intamin there. Next, we have Maurer. They also showed quite a bit. As you can see, they sort of rebranded their Spike coaster. They have a Spike Racer model, which is basically what we've seen before, and they've now have a Spike Fun model that incorporates several different, I guess, sort of a Spike Fun category that has several models within it, actually. They are capable of doing inversions. They have tilting seats and longer trains. They're supposed to be very versatile. They have 6 different models within the Spike Fun category they've shown off, which include the Barnstormer on the top left, which has inversions. The Omega layout, which is on the bottom left, which also features inversions. They have a mine train, which is on the top right, that can be themed up quite well. They also have a cat and rat sort of layout, which sort of duels. And then they also have a dark ride layout that they've shown previously, but we've gotten, I think, a little more from it. And then we have the crazy looking coaster tower on the bottom right, which just looks absolutely ridiculous. It looks like something that it looks sort of polar coaster-esque, so it's very strange. And then at the top, you have the Maurer Spike car, so they had that on display. So that is your Maurer sort of stuff that came out of it. We also had a new family coaster from E&S Rides. It's a shuttle family coaster. E&S Rides is part of Reverchon, so it's a new family coaster. That is the new concept they released. They had a shuttle coaster and then one with sort of a lift hill. They said it was pretty versatile. You had Triotech, who announced that they were doing their major announcement, which I talked about the last stream. Didn't end up being that major, I suppose, at least compared to what some people were expecting. They're going to be involved with a new park called Puy du Fou in Asia, which is owned by the same people who have the one in Europe, of course. They're going to be involved there for upcoming attractions. And then you have a company called Taziker. I probably butchered that. They did the retrack for Big One. They have shown up at IAAPA for the first time ever, and they have revealed a new company division that is dedicated to replacing Steel Coaster Track. A lot to go through, but that is all the sort of big IAAPA Expo Europe stuff you need to know. But anyways, we still have some more things. Busch Gardens Williamsburg, they announced Dark Coaster. That is their new for 2023 Intamin motorbike coaster. It is indoors. And so it'll be probably more on the family-oriented sort of side. We already kind of know what the layout is. In fact, we know what it is pretty much in its entirety. But should be pretty fun. I'm curious to see what the theming level of this ride is like, and I that's pretty much all I have to say, because there's still a decent bit we don't know about this ride in terms of how the theming is going to be, so that'll definitely be interesting to monitor. But yeah, there you go. Next, we have a new major theme park that was announced for Poland called Hassoland. Sorry if I butchered that. It has been announced, and it is planned to open in 2024. And it is slated to, at some point, have 50 attractions and 4 themed areas, and Vekoma and Mack rides are believed to be involved. There's also an STC, or suspended thrill coaster, in the concept art, as you can see on the right. So definitely a really cool looking, ambitious looking ride. Not just ride, but of course park project. But yeah, there you go. Next, you have Toverland in the Netherlands. They've announced 4 new for 2023 attractions, which include a Gerstlauer Skyfly called Pixarus Flight School, Dragon Watch, an Intamin Parachute Drop Tower, which is a family drop tower, Garden Tour, which is a kiddie car ride, and Jumping Juno, which is a Zamperla jump around, sort of carousel-esque ride, or more, I should say, kind of like Dumbo-esque kind of ride. So there is that. The whole area looks great, and I think the Skyfly looks really cool because it's literally sandwiched in between the Helix for Phoenix, so that's pretty insane. And so that's definitely going to be a ride to look forward to, along with these other new additions, if you're ever visiting the park anytime in the near future. Next, we have Legoland Germany. They've announced their new for 2023 area, Lego Mythica, which will also feature a new coaster. We know this is a B&M Wing, specifically a family-oriented one. It has already gone vertical, so we already know what it is. They haven't announced that it is that, but we already know. So, but it's good to see that they finally announced a new area, and I guess we'll have to learn more about it once they give some more information in the near future. Next, we have some Alton Towers news. They held a public consultation for Project Horizon, which is a new indoor attraction. So that is definitely something to monitor. We don't know a whole lot about it. Doesn't seem to be a new coaster though, so that is something worth noting, but still something to keep an eye on. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of it, what type of ride it is. It's certainly probably the thing that everyone's most interested in, so definitely something to monitor. That will be in the area that their old Wild Mouse used to be, Alton Mouse. So that's why the picture on the right is there. And then Nemesis has announced that, or Alton Towers has announced that Nemesis will be closing on November 6th to receive its long-expected refurb, which is likely to take place next year. And the coaster is believed to not, it is probably not going to reopen until 2024, but that's not something the park has came out and said. But what we do know is that Nemesis is closing for that refurb. So probably much needed, and good that they're doing that. Next is Wild Adventures. They have announced their new for 2023 edition, which is an Oasis Outpost area, which will include a new kiddie car ride called Trail Trackers Adventure Ride, new animal exhibits, new play areas, and a new restaurant. This is a very family-oriented park, so this kind of fits in perfectly with that sort of audience. So probably a good new area for a park that they've received some things. Obviously, people want to see them receive like things like coasters, but I don't think that's super realistic to expect. But yeah, that you do have this, which it does look like a nice addition for Wild Adventures, just because it's like an entire new area, and I'm sure it's going to look really nice when it opens. So, but certainly, of course, more of a family-oriented edition. Next, you have New Jersey and El Toro, and that is that New Jersey state inspectors have ruled that El Toro is structurally compromised due to there being, in quote, identified structural damage affecting multiple wooden track support columns in a section of the coaster track. So you have that. And this also means that the ride will be closed until this issue is addressed. Six Flags Great Adventure did come out recently and state that they still plan on reopening the ride for 2023, but very clearly they have some work to do for this, of course. I can only hope that they can finally remedy all the issues of El Toro, and that's the end of that. It reopens and everything's like just fine. But we'll see what happens. I think the reaction of this being the end of El Toro was a little too crazy, and it doesn't seem like that's the case. But Great Adventure has a lot of work to do, that's for sure. Next, we have Mr. Freeze Reverse Blast. It is returning as Mr. Freeze, as it is now going to have a forward-facing launch. This was just announced, I believe, yesterday night. And so, yeah, it's returning as Mr. Freeze. It'll have a forward-facing launch. For the first time since 2011, they didn't really specify when it's coming back, but I imagine pretty soon, because that's not that much of a change, just flipping the train around. I mean, it does take a decent bit of work, but it's not something that's like too crazy, I wouldn't think. So it does seem like it's going to come back pretty soon, which is definitely good to see. And for a lot of people, this will be the first time they've ever ridden it forward, so that'll definitely be very interesting. Next, we have SeaWorld Orlando. They will unveil their new for 2023 attraction, which is, of course, the leaked B&M Surf Coaster, on September 27th. And rumor is that SeaWorld San Diego will also reveal their coaster on the 27th, but that is not confirmed. Now, what I will say is that, obviously, for Florida, and some people have talked about this, there's a hurricane that is going to be coming. I'm not sure what the schedule is, but if this announcement gets delayed, and obviously with a hurricane, there's a lot bigger things to be concerned about, of course, so hopefully everyone's able to stay safe in Florida next week and just anywhere where that hurricane's going through. But of course, if something happens, there is a chance this announcement could get delayed, so I will just preface that. But it does seem like that they are planning right now to announce it, so assuming that happens, it should be a very interesting announcement. And if they do announce it online, like they have a stream or something, I will try my best to do a live reaction stream for the SeaWorld Orlando announcement. But that is a sort of wait and see sort of thing. Next is PortAventura. They are teasing their new for 2023 attraction, which is... we don't really know what it is, but they are teasing it, so for whatever that's worth. And there's a new rumor going around on forums. This is a very loose rumor, so take it with an absolute grain of salt. This could be wishful thinking, but rumor is that Universal is supposedly interested in rebuying PortAventura, and the rumor goes that higher-ups from both companies have discussed the idea. Multiple people claim they have seen Universal executives walking around the park, along with Universal vans. Some people have stated that sometimes Universal will send people over to the park just to see how IP is being used. So there's a lot of things here that I'm just like, it's a wait and see. I don't have much faith that this is actually going to happen. But if it does, that would certainly be a good thing to see. So, because I know PortAventura has some operational issues, and bringing back Universal would likely fix a lot of that. So, probably nothing here, but, you know, if something happens, that would be pretty cool, but I'm not holding my breath. Next, we have Conneaut Lake Park, and that is that Keldon Holdings has unveiled plans to turn Conneaut Lake Park into an RV park that would introduce new pools, a splash pad, mini golf, and keep the park's carousel in... I don't know if they would be relocating it, but they would be keeping the park's carousel with this new plan. Todd Joseph, of course, has refused to speak to the press, so he has not been able to answer any questions related to this. But certainly an unfortunate fate, I suppose, for Conneaut Lake Park. I mean, we kind of knew something was coming that was going to change it significantly, and Blue Streak, of course, met its end. So The whole park is sort of an unfortunate story at this point, but we'll see what sort of happens. Next, we have Bellewaerde in Belgium. They are planning some major improvements over the next several years, as shown by recent building permits. And some of these improvements include the addition of an Intamin Rapids ride to their western area in 2024. We knew they were getting a Rapids ride, but beyond that, they are supposedly planning a new Zamperla Barnyard attraction in their Canada area, a new playground and Zamperla Nebulas in their India area, and overhauls to existing animal exhibits and their carousel restaurant, which will receive a medieval retheme, according to building permits. So, I assume since these things haven't been announced, things could change, but it seems they're pretty far into these projects, so I wouldn't expect it to. So, if you're looking to visit the park in the near future or you live close by, some things to look out for sure. Next, we have Wallaby Holland. They have filed plans for a new indoor family attraction coming in 2023. Not much is known about it, but they have filed plans for it, and they are demolishing. They have begun demolition of the go-karts in the area they want to put this new attraction in. So we'll see what happens here. As with everything, as with quite a few things that I've mentioned, but there's still a lot to be determined with this new attraction, and we'll find out what it is in the near future, I would assume. And then in terms of other mysterious new attractions, we have another one, Belantis in Germany, and the CEO of the park has stated that they will receive, or Belantis will receive, its next major attraction by 2025, potentially sooner, but 2025 as like the latest. We don't know what it is. But also another thing too, we'll see if any sort of things come out of it, if there's any teasing, any sort of leaks or anything, because it's a long ways from now. But another sort of project to keep an eye on for sure. Next, we have Family Kingdom in Myrtle Beach. It has been purchased by Bill Prescott and Broadway Amusements, who own a Slingshot in the area. The park was previously owned by the, I might butcher this also, Amon's family in 1992, and they owned it up until its recent sale. So I've heard the park has needed some improvements, so hopefully this will be a way for it to get the improvements they need. And hopefully, of course, keeping Swamp Fox around is certainly something that I think everyone would love to see, keeping it in good shape. So hopefully they can fulfill that, and we'll see how things sort of change, or if things don't change much. It's another thing that it's sort of a wait and see sort of thing. Next, we're heading into our last three things. Kennywood is teasing a new for 2023 alien-themed attraction. They've put up a website for it, or a webpage, I should say. We don't know a whole lot about it, other than it will replace Volcano. So you have your Volcano replacement. Not the Volcano replacement you would have expected, but a Volcano replacement nonetheless. And that is something that's going to be coming in 2023. The number says 11/22, so some people are speculating this could be the announcement date, November 22nd. We'll see, but another thing that is pretty mysterious right now. So that's pretty much that for Kennywood. Next, we have Scream at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. It is closed for ride improvements, speculated to be related, to be more aesthetic based than anything else, and it could be related to the park's old Loop Drive-In theater, which was replaced by Scream. This has been speculated because a sign for that thing, the Loop Drive-In theater, was posted by Jeffrey Siebert, so that is something. And then we have our last thing, Busch Gardens Tampa. This is another rumor, very light rumor, but Screamscape is reporting a rumor that even they are saying is something to take with a heavy grain of salt, or yeah, basically. And that is that Busch Gardens Tampa is looking to add a medium thrill wooden coaster for 2024. I don't think this is legit. I have so many doubts, but that is pretty much what the sort of rumor is. And that is all the news. A lot to go through. I see your comments in the chat. There was a lot. I think some of it I could have cut out, but we'll be moving on in a little bit. I have some channel announcements. I'll just go through them super quick. I have a new channel called Coaster Hour Beyond. Description. It's in the description. At Coaster Hour Beyond. It's a new channel where I will put content that normally wouldn't fit on this channel on there. So that is going to be the plan. And so there you go. I'm working on a top 100 coaster, or the top 100 coasters I've ridden project, which will be edit based, no like voiceover or anything like that. So that's going to be something to look forward to there. And as always, if you're interested in coming on Coaster Time, make sure to fill out the self-request form. It's in the description, and that is a way that you can come on if you are interested. Of course, as always, filling out the form doesn't guarantee you will come on, but I would say it gives you a better chance of coming on than if you didn't fill it out. So that's pretty much all I have to say there. That is the news. And yeah, that went a while. I probably could have shortened some explanations there, so my apologies. But I know a lot of people watch this afterwards and watch the news. I've been told many times that people like it. So I'm not going to, I mean, yeah, it was a longer news segment than I would normally do, but there was a lot to cover, so I didn't want to, skip stuff. So, yep, there you go. All right, with that being said, I'm going to, actually, I think I'll change a little bit. I'm actually going to do a Guess the Coaster game before we do our viewer call-ins. I think that would be a good idea, because if some of you want to do something a little different, I definitely think, yeah, okay, so this is, I'll answer this first. The whole thing about, I have gotten comments about covering international stuff, and people are like, oh, well, most people don't care. And that is true, but I do have some viewers who are from different places in the world where some of those things would be a little more interesting. I mean, during one of my last viewer calls, we had someone from South Korea come on, and I have viewers from different parts of the world, from Europe, from Asia, I think even from Australia. So some of these things are a little more interesting to certain people, so that's sort of the justification there. But yeah, I know some people are like, it's super weird. Why would I cover this sort of stuff? And that's why. And also, some of these projects, you never know if it could lead to something being built somewhere else. So that's the other sort of thing. So, I mean, like the Vekoma coasters, they started building in Poland first. People might have been like, oh, who cares? Well, now we're getting stuff in the US. So there you go, as well. But anyways, we're going to do Guess the Coaster. I think that's a good idea. And how this works is you try to guess the coaster that I'm thinking of based off clues. And that's pretty much going to be that. I'm still getting my first coaster. Alrighty, I have my first coaster. Guess away. Yeah, I mean, look, UK, India, exactly. It's not like everyone that is watching is just from the US, so. Japan, yeah, there you go. It is not Gold Rusher at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Good guess. It is in North America, so yes. It is a North American coaster. You have to ask the questions to get to the clues. That's how it works. That's how it works. I'm not just gonna give clues unless it's something that I think's really difficult, and this is not that difficult. It is not on the East Coast, but it is a steel coaster in North America. So that's what we have right now. It's not in Mexico. I hit my hand against the table, really nice. It is in the US, so steel coaster in the US. It is near Magic Mountain. It actually is. So, yeah, it is near Magic Mountain. So that Stamford Bridge was actually kind of onto something, just not quite there. It is not Medusa. It does not have inversions. It is not in Canada, but it is in California. It is not Scream. It's not Incredicoaster. It is at Knott's Berry Farm. It's not Accelerator. So far we have Knott's Berry Farm, Steel Coaster, no inversions. Yeah, okay. It is not Hang Time. I'm gonna need a drink of water, and I need it so bad because that news segment about killed me. It is not Jaguar. It is not Sierra Sidewinder. It's not Coast Rider. Thankfully, it isn't. It'll come up pretty soon, I think. It is not defunct. It still exists. It still operates. And Stamford Bridge got it. It is Pony Express at Knott's Berry Farm. My first ever launch coaster I ever rode, I believe, actually. So, for anyone who cares, that was my first ever launch coaster. So, there you go. Pony Express at Knott's Berry Farm. That's what it was. Alrighty, I'll get another coaster. And eventually I'll get something right. Yeah, we'll go with this one. Alright, I have my next coaster. It's a solid coaster. I mean, it's not like one I hold in super high regard. Even if it was my first launch coaster, it's not it seems like the more and more I ride it, the less and less I like it. The brake run's kind of brutal because you're being squished. It is a steel coaster. It is a steel coaster. It's not in Europe. It's not Fluke von Novgorod, but it does have inversions, and it is in the US. So we have steel coaster with inversions in the US. So steel coaster, US with inversions. And it is a B&M. So B&M coaster in the US with inversions. It is not Monster, and it does not have a launch. It is at a chain park, so B&M Looper at a chain park in the US. It is not Loch Ness Monster. It is not at a SeaWorld park. It is not Kraken, but it is at a Six Flags park. So B&M Looper in the US at a Six Flags park. It is not an invert, and it is not a wing. It is not Batman. It is not Kumba. It is not a dive coaster. It's not Scream, but it is a stand-up coaster. So, stand-up coaster at a Six Flags park. B&M stand-up, that is. It is not Medusa. It's not Riddler's Revenge. History and Leisure got it right. It is Green Lantern at Six Flags Great Adventure. That is the coaster. Alrighty, we'll go into our next one. I'll probably do 4 more. Alrighty. We have our next coaster. I guess I have done... Yeah, there's only 3 stand-ups in the Six Flags chain now, I believe. So I've done 2 out of 3. I just haven't done Green Lantern yet. But yeah. Yes, it is steel, but it is not in the US. It is not Big Boom. It does have inversions. So steel coaster, with inversions. It's not Nessie. It is not in North America. It is in Japan, yes. So we have Japanese steel coaster with inversions. Not in Europe and not in Africa. Alrighty. Let's see what comes in here. And Stamford Bridge got it. Edgenica is the correct answer. I was debating doing it because it was probably too easy. But yeah, that's the correct answer. Still a really good guess because it's still pretty random. But yeah, Edgenica is the correct answer. My number 1 or number 2 bucket list coaster, depending on if I would rather do this or Dynaconda. So certainly a coaster that I can't wait to check out at some point. Alrighty. I'll do, I guess I said 4 more last time, so I'll do 3 more now. And eventually I'll get something. Your number 1. Yeah, it looks so good. I mean, I'm such a big fan of X2, so. Ooh, alright. Yep, we'll do that. Alright, I have my coaster. It is not X2, and it is not in Europe. It's not Flug der Dämonen. Probably totally butchered that, but I'm gonna do that with a lot of these. I mean, I already do. I probably am up there for most butchering on a YouTube channel like ever in terms of pronunciation. Steel coaster, no. North America, yes, it is in North America. It does not have inversions, and it is not in Asia. So far we have North American coaster. Oh wait, it is not. Did I say it was steel? It is not steel. So it is wood. Yes, I may have said it was steel. If I did, I messed up. But it is a wooden coaster in North America. It is not from Intamin, and it is not a GCI. Ah, yeah, actually, that seems pretty accurate. Okay, yeah, I could see that. Prowler. No, it's not Prowler, but it is from CCI. So far we have CCI coaster, CCI wooden coaster in the US. It is not a Gravity Group. It's not El Toro. It's not Voyage. So CCI wooden coaster in the US. It is not Legend. It is not Voyage. It is not Lost Coaster. It is not Boulder Dash, and it is not Raven. It is not Shivering Timbers. It's not Cornball Express. It's not at Indiana Beach. It's not New Mexico Rattler. It's not Rampage. Not Who's Your Hurricane. It is not Zeus. It's not Outlaw. It's not Cyclops. Man, we are going down the list. It is not Pegasus. Not Cyclops. It's not Raven. But it is defunct. Frontier Coasters. It is defunct. So defunct CCI coaster in the US. That should make it a lot easier. It's not Excalibur. I think someone's going to get it pretty quickly. It's not Hercules. Powerful Coasters got it. It is Megazeph at Six Flags New Orleans. I don't know if we've gotten this before. Maybe we have. I feel like we have, but I don't know. I mean, if you do this game so many times, it probably happens, but yeah, Megazeph at Six Flags New Orleans is the correct answer. Alrighty, so 2 more? Yep. All right. Let's see. I'm getting so many obvious coasters. It's crazy. All right, we'll go with this. I have my next coaster already. Here's the next one. When I said we're getting obvious coasters, I didn't pick them, but I had like gotten like Lightning Rod and Phoenix. Those are not either of the answers, but like just stuff that I'm like, yeah, that would be way too easy. It is not in Europe, and it is not steel. So we have yet another wooden coaster. It is not Eagle's Fortress. It does not have any inversions. Yeah, Hurricane in Florida, I don't believe it is CCI. I don't know who manufactured that. I think it may have been like a one-off or something like that, but it actually, I heard it was pretty fun, but rest in peace. It is in the US, so we have one coaster in the US. It is not GCI, and it is not PTC, though it does feature PTC trains. It is not White Cyclone, and it is not Defunct. It is not GCI, and it is not Coaster at Peony Playland. So US wooden coaster that is still operating, that has PTC trains. It is CCI, yes, so we have another CCI. It is not Gold Striker, it's not Voyage, it's not Ravine Flyer 2, it's not Boulder Dash, it's not Wildcat, and it is not Jackrabbit. It's not any Wildcat, so it is not Beast. It is not Boss, it's not Cyclops, it's not Excalibur, it's not Cornball Express, it's not Raven. It is at a chain park. Yes, it is indeed at a chain park. We'll see if that causes any issues. It is not Legend. It's not Who's Your Hurricane. It is not Shivering Timbers. It is not Boss. So far we have CCI coaster at a chain park with PTC trains. It is not Lost Coaster. Oh, and obviously also still existing as well. It is not Zach Zoomer. It's not at Mount Olympus. I guess those coasters hadn't been guessed yet, but I don't believe Mount Olympus is a chain park. Maybe it is. I don't think it is. I'd have to look at that. Maybe they have like a group of water parks or something. And Frontier Coasters got it. It is Silver Comet at Niagara Amusement Park, which is indeed now a chain park because it is part of that sort of Indiana Beach chain. So that is it, Silver Comet. Alright, for this last one, I'll get an international coaster. So, already going to be helped off a little bit just because of that. Oh, I got one and I skipped it, so I'm going to go back and use it. Alright, I have my next coaster. Guess away. It is not Tron. Well, yeah, now it's at a chain park now. I mean, it didn't. I mean, wait, no, it did. I guess because Fantasy Island was in a chain. But, anyways, it's not one you think of. It is in Europe, and it is a steel coaster. So far we have European steel coaster. It is not GAO, it's not Expedition G-Force, but it does have inversions. So we have European steel coaster with inversions. It is not a sit-down coaster. So we have a European steel coaster with inversions that is not a sit-down. It does not have a launch. It is not Smiler, but it is a Vekoma coaster. So a Vekoma looping coaster that's not a sit-down in Europe. Let's see. It is not Conda. It is not Smiler. It's not Colossus. It is in Germany, so yes. And it is an invert. It is not Fly, it's not Black Mamba, it's not Nemesis, it's not Colossus. Mr. Cola Roaster got it right, followed by Frontier Coasters and Powerful Coasters. It is Howl's Uberkauf at Tripstrill, which is a pretty fun-looking Vekoma STC. So there you go. Yep, that is it. And that'll do it for our Guess the Coaster. Alrighty. Let's see. I guess I'll do buy or sell as well. Why not? If you guys want to do it. If you haven't been here for this segment, this is a segment that was inspired by a few different things. Of course, Airtime Thrill series of the same name. If you ask, give him your take, or yeah, like your sort of take. That's the sort of thing that it pretty much is. And yeah, you like put your take in the chat, and then I'll answer it. I got inspired by him, and I reached out to him so I could do this segment. Of course, this is also a segment that if you watch sports shows like on ESPN or other channels, it's also a segment that they do quite a bit. So that's pretty much the idea of it. So yeah, we'll do buy or sell. It'll be I'll start it now, and anything that comes in the next, well, I'll make it shorter, 10 minutes, I'll answer. So that's that. Also, that way it's not too long and we can get to the viewer call-ins. So yeah. More people want to do it, so we'll go with it. All right. Buy or sell. Lightwater Valley, the entire park is doomed. Wow, that is dark. I don't know how they're actually doing, but they are changing so much that I do have to question. And I don't know what part of the UK it's in terms of how far away it is from everything, but there are some pretty good family park options. Granted, I don't know how expensive they are also, but I think I can buy it. I don't know enough to be super confident in that, but they are changing so much that it does make me wonder how they're actually doing. So I'll buy it. North Korea will get a new coaster in the next 10 years. I buy it. I feel like that's something that would happen. As weird as it is, I feel like that's something that could happen. Cedar Fair will never work with Intamin again. I'm sort of in the idea, and I've seen this on forums, I think it'll be a really long time before they actually get a new coaster from them, but I think it'll eventually happen once there's enough leadership turnover where that grudge is not really there anymore, but we're talking like decades from now. So I think eventually, assuming that two things exist, they will, but not for a very long time, like an extremely long time. So I'll buy it for the sake of this, just because I think, if I say they're not going to work for like 20 years or something like that, that's not quite never, but that's a pretty long time. So in that sense, I'll buy it. Coaster Hour will get 10,000 subs at some point. You say sell. Yeah, I think, man, I don't want to go on much of a rant here. But I think the issue is the streams, it's just a very big time commitment to watch them. And I think there's probably a lot of people who haven't watched my stuff who are too daunted because they think they need to watch every stream, which is not true. You can just watch one stream whenever and you can probably enjoy it, even afterwards. And I have timestamps for it too. I do think I will get there. I have some plans to change some things. I think Coaster Time, just that by itself isn't going to get me to 10K, but I'll buy it because I do think I can get there. It's just going to take some sort of other pieces of content that I have plan to do it, because I mean, keep in mind, I grew pretty quick when I started my content, or started out. I hit 1,000 in less than a year, and I think there's a way I can get the channel to grow a lot faster. It's just the sort of content I've decided to do for right now, and especially focusing so much on coaster time, that won't get me there. I'm still going to do coaster time, of course, but I need to do some other stuff as well. And hopefully people watch the other videos I make, like the countdowns or the interviews or whatever. And they'll come and watch the other thing. That would be kind of the hope, right? So I think I can get there. Even if it seems just kind of crazy right now, just because it is pretty clear that growth has slowed. It's not like insulting or anything. It's just where things are. Joyland will be bought by Gene Staples, buy or sell. I think sell. The parks he has are relatively, I mean, they're still pretty far from each other, but they're certainly in an area of the country, and Joyland's like pretty far down south, so I think he won't. That, and also the owners seemed pretty unoptimistic that it would like truly get sold, so I'm going to sell that. Let's see. Buy or sell. Mason's Coaster Thrills will hit 1,000 subs by next year. How many subs do you have? Because I would have to have that to go off of. But I'm not gonna make the call there. I think if you like really work on making like videos that people are interested in and you would like to do, I think, yeah, you can get there. So I'll buy if you do that. But that's something that I can't truly predict very well, like at all, but I hope you do. So there you go. 47. Yeah. You can still get going. Like some channels, like it's kind of like it takes a while to take off. But once they take off, it's like, okay, there you go. So, yeah. Wildcat or Wildfire is a very overrated RMC. Is that like, I guess, a buy or sell? I have not ridden it, and honestly, I feel like the hype's kind of died for it because Zadra is now around, and I think even Untamed has taken spotlight from it. So honestly, I wouldn't say so. I would say sell. I feel like it's not that hyped up nowadays. So I don't think it's very overrated. Europe won't get another RMC in the next 10 years. Wow, that's a bit of a grim one. Actually, sell. Yeah, because we already know that Wallaby Holland is getting an RMC Raptor. It's already been leaked for 2024. So, I mean, that already by itself makes that a sell. So, and even without that, I think there would be some sort of project that would go over there. RMC will make family coasters without inversions. I know they have that family coaster concept, and I know they're putting it out there. Will a park buy it, though, is my real question. It's still relatively new, so it's hard to say if it has hardly gotten any interest or not. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. I think I'll buy it, because I think as long as one is made, that makes the prediction true. And so I just hope that someone will build one. And I think they could. So, yeah. I think that could be done. Let's see. I missed India's first buy or sell. What was it? Oh, okay. Yep. Thank you. India will become one of the leading countries for coasters in the next 20 years. I'm going to say sell simply because we haven't seen enough new projects there in recent years, based off my knowledge, to say that's going to happen. And that's like simply it. If there were some signs of like something concrete, I would say yes, because it's a huge population. There's a lot of potential, obviously. But because we don't have that, I'm going to say sell, just because it's we haven't seen a whole lot to suggest that would be something that would happen. Buy or sell, Marine Lane will shut down within the next 10 years. It's always sort of on like it feels like the hot seat in terms of like going away, but it never does. But I think inevitably, I don't know if it like completely shuts down. It's so I have a hard time seeing like that it sits on such good land that I feel like someone would want it, but they could use it for different purposes in a park. So I'll buy it. The park just has a pretty uncertain future. They're still dealing with like sort of animal condition issues, which is pretty significant, along with several other things. So I'll buy it. Thorpe Park's new coaster will be canceled. I'm going to sell that. I think they're going to be able to get it to work. So I think it happens. Even if it has to get delayed, I think it happens. So, yeah. Buy or sell. The UAE has already oversaturated with parks. I mean, yeah, buy. I don't know what the exact population is, but it definitely seems to have a lot for... I don't think it's a super huge country, so I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing, like, for the people over there. I mean, certainly that if you live there, it's great, right? But yeah, it is pretty crazy how many projects they're getting. But I mean, projects have to go somewhere, right? And that's where they're going. So yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, the UAE government, yeah, that's a whole nother story though. That is true. Buy or sell, B&M will never make another sit-down launch coaster. Another sit-down launch coaster. Ooh, that is definitely yeah, because all they do is Hulk, and they did Decepticoaster, but that's about it. So I will buy that simply because unless Universal makes another park, no one's really asking. Although actually, I could see a world where the surf coaster, because it's currently a stand-up, they do convert to a sit-down. So it's difficult, but I'm still going to buy it for now. So yeah. All right, what time is it? 11:36. So I'm going to put a stop here. And so I'll make sure I get through all the questions up to where I did that stop, but in the chat. But anyways, there you go. So that last question before it will be the last question I answer. All right. Buy or sell, Bandit at Movie Park Germany is a great wooden coaster. I'm going to say sell. I would be stunned if I liked it. I've heard just terrible things about it, and looking at the layout, I just, no. I don't think so. Six Flags will go bankrupt soon. I'm still going to say sell. I still think that we'll see like what sort of happens, and I know there's been a lot of talk about them recently. But I don't think so. So there you go. All right. I'm gonna say sell basically. Not much of an explanation there. I think I've kind of gone into it in previous streams, so I'm not gonna say too much else there. Let's see. No, look. I think someone sent a question like right before they saw it, so it's fine. You don't spam the chat with that, please. But anyways, buy or sell, Kennywood will build a Vekoma STC as their next coaster. I'm gonna say sell. That would be really cool, but I don't know. That would definitely be kind of out there, in my opinion. But anyways, yeah. I feel like, I don't know. We haven't seen Palace, like, here in the US go to Vekoma a whole lot recently. Maybe they will, but I'm just not super sold on that. Although they did work with S&S, so I mean, I guess you sort of do have the connection. So I could see a world where that happens, but I'm still going to sell it. Buy or sell. Expedition GeForce is the best coaster outside of Europe. Well, it is in Europe, so like, if you're asking if it's the best coaster in Europe, I'm going to sell. And if you're saying it's better than everything outside of Europe, I'm also going to sell. So I'm just gonna sell it entirely. I just think there's coasters that are better. If you're looking outside of Europe, Voyage I think is much more to my preferences. And then in Europe, Ride to Happiness. So there you go. Even though I haven't ridden it. Buy or sell. More chains will expand to the spinning coasters. Yes, I buy that. I think we are going to see more spinning coasters get added because more and more manufacturers are starting to dabble into that a little bit and produce models. And then also you have Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, which there's a lot more to it than it's just a spinning coaster. But I could see a suggestion where where that could happen, where we could see more spinning coasters. I'm not even gonna answer that Coaster Series question. Yeah, I'm just not answering that one. Fantasia Land will close the year before the year 2100. I'm going to say sell. It's doing pretty good right now, so I'm not gonna predict it's gonna stop. Buy or sell. El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure will be demolished. No, it sell. They literally just said, they just put out a statement like very recently, I think within like the last 48 hours since that the structurally compromised thing came out, that they're going to be opening it. So I'm going to sell that. Like eventually probably, but at least like, will it be demolished before it reopens? No, I'm absolutely selling that. Let's see. All right, we're getting close to the end of the questions. I have no idea what the Rail Baltica project is. So I cannot say anything there because I have no idea what that is. But yeah. I see the sort of Kahoot suggestion. I actually have been toying around with the idea of bringing something like that back. So it is certainly something that is, there's like a few things though. We'll see. It's certainly an idea that, I'm happy to see kind of get brought up just so people want to do it. So, I'll definitely like toy around with that a little bit. I like that was suggested. Coaster Hangman. Yeah, that's another pretty fun one. B&M will never build another Giga Coaster. I'm going to say there's like this weird rumor going around. I don't know that I fully believe it. But there's a rumor that Great Adventure actually signed off on a B&M Giga before Salim came in. I don't know if someone made that up just for the purpose of villainizing him a little more, because supposedly that project's dead. But there is like a sort of little rumor that's been going around. Like I said, I don't know that I believe it. In fact, I kind of like it's just kind of came out of nowhere. But you know, if there was a hint of truth to that, or that was even a conversation, then perhaps there is a chance that there could be another B&M Giga eventually built. So I'm actually gonna say sell. I think somewhere we are going to see it, but I don't expect to see too many more, if that makes sense. Also, you know, maybe eventually Knott's does build that Giga in like 50 years. Maybe. Who knows? Let's see. Let's see. Honestly, I'm gonna be straight up honest. I don't watch Theme Park Worldwide, so I'm not really interested. I don't want to say it in a mean way, but yeah, that's yeah, I don't watch them. And Coaster Studios I don't watch as much nowadays either. I like basically only watch like the his analysis stuff on news just so I know what he said so I can answer questions people have in the chat whenever I cover it. So yeah, I just don't watch them as much anymore. Theme Park Worldwide I've like hardly ever watched. Let's see. Okay, this is the last question. What a weird question. But whatever. We'll go into it. I will get married before 2030. I'm gonna sell that because I have no plans to. That could certainly, I mean, that's a life thing, so that could certainly change. But I'm going to sell that because I have like zero plans to do that. So, that's pretty much gonna be that. But yeah. All right, so that's gonna be the end of buy or sell. Some pretty good questions, very good questions in there. So, or not questions, but sort of takes. So there we have it. And then we're gonna head into our viewer call-ins. Of course, the reason why we're here. This is, I think, the first time in a while I've tried this on a Saturday. So I usually do these on Friday nights. So we'll see how this goes. I think it's something I'm leaning toward if I do this stuff more often, or I mean, I will do these at certain points, but depending on the turnout, I probably will keep these on Friday nights. I think that just works better. But I wanted to try it because who knows. But basically how the StreamYard and the viewer call-ins works is you can come in and talk about I'll ask about your reactions to the recent like news or just things that have happened recently. And if time allows, your sort of predictions for the future, kind of like similar to what I did last time, but obviously we have a lot of news topics, so that's going to be where the plan for the viewer call-ins, like I said, it is through StreamYard, so I have the link pinned in the chat. I also have it in the description, so multiple ways you can get to it, and that's going to be the plan. We have Lindsay from History and Leisure and Backstage, so I'll let you, I'll make sure if you're ready. Yeah, I'll bring you on in a little bit. Alrighty, so I'll bring you on like a 5-second countdown. I'll just get a drink of water real quick and then we'll get started. Oh yeah, and I probably should have my headphones. That would probably be good too. Alrighty, so I'll bring you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lindsay, how are you doing?
Hello.
Hello.
Do y'all hear me?
Yep, can hear you.
Yeah, so I was thinking about the El Toro. So I was like, I think it was in the Airtime Thrills Discord, someone posted something about like a sinkhole where Rolling Thunder was. And that might have led to some of the structural issues. So I was thinking if that was one of the issues, maybe they would just partially like demolish that and maybe rebuild the second half. Like I've always thought about what if that's like I was like went back around the lift hill and made like it more compact. Like imagine those turns, like almost kind of like a wave turn or something. Like when instead of going at Twitter, like in like a wave turn effect, and then bank back down like the brake run. I think you see what I'm talking about. Like
I can sort of see it.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've ridden it, but I think it'd be like a possible idea partially demolishing and rebuilding it if they really wanted to go that route. I doubt they would, because Celine just is like, I'm here to lead and not to read, and so maybe they'll try and do a hot fix again. But I think even the state's is not going to be really patient that they really wanted to pull the plug on it this time, but the park is really seems to be really determined to try and bring it back.
I'm still a little kind of like, I don't know where this is gonna go, and like I said, as far as I know, the park did say something recently. They do still want to keep it understandable. I did see that sinkhole thing. I did see it on the Airtime Thrills Discord, and I saw it on a forum.
I'm guessing that might be why Rolling Thunder was demolished instead of getting RMC. That might be one of the reasons why that happened.
I did see that. I'm not 100% sure I like fully believe like that sort of thing, but there might be something to it. I sort of just glossed over it though, so I don't know like everything there is to it. But yeah, that was kind of interesting.
It would make sense that RMC didn't want to do anything with Rolling Thunder, and then we hear about the sinkhole.
All right,
it makes
yeah,
sense.
I could see that. Yeah. Do you have? Is there any other like sort of the news things or sort of things that have happened recently that took your interest?
Well, in my previous video in my current Parks and Transit series, I brought up the parks in Monterey. I recorded that before Bosque Magico actually officially closed, and actually it was like interesting seeing how it actually had a lot of bus service, yet it's still closed. I don't know if that was like a management issue or what that was, but you had a Parque Playa Sesame about a mile away in Parque Funadori, and then in the spring they lost the Sesame license, and then they also lost their website. And I saw this morning on their Instagram story that they now have a TikTok, but other than that, they only have Facebook, which is like their main page, Instagram, and also WhatsApp, which is more common in other places than in the US. Interesting. So I guess you would pay at the gate, even though they do have like offers that you can show like at the gate on the Facebook page. So possibly some like site cultural differences there, but I don't know why they haven't gotten a new site yet. But it does sound like the water rides there actually run for another 2 weeks. So they're still been focused on the water park, but they still have some of the rides open in the main area. But they haven't really shared much about it other than that they have some dry rides operating. And I'm not sure it's like the current lineup that you can see like on maps, like both the thrill rides and the more children's rides, because there's like a drop tower and go-karts as well from that. And also the kind of like Adirondack Outlaw and Catwoman at St. Louis. There's something like that as well. Just kind of interesting compared to the two Sesame Place parks that we have here in the U.S.
I just to stop for a second. You're talking about the Monterey
Park,
parks,
the former Sesame Place, the former Sesame themed park in Mexico.
I didn't even know that existed. That's interesting.
Came up in my investigation of that, and I did put in the comments about the Rail Baltica thing because my next the final video in that series for the moment is about basically listing sort of like the major coasters and parks of the EU. Most was like transit related, and so Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, they joined the Union in 2004, and that's a whole like high-speed rail project.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay,
so
I see that.
Do you think like that might like induce demand, or maybe kind of like how Energylandia in the new park they're talking about Hazeland kind of getting some EU money, if they might put some money in like Estonia or Latvia or something? Because I know there's like a kiddie coaster that's like it's very close to a ferry to Helsinki. So if you went to Linden Mock, you could easily spend the day just to get in and get that +1. So it's like as long as you like your passport, I think even EUP you wouldn't need a passport to get there probably, but
okay, I sort of see. So that like sort of rail project, that's gonna be a way that makes like sort of getting the and traveling to different places.
I was thinking
in the
it
UA.
could be like an idea is that if they build with the rail project, like induce demand for more like leisure options, because I know like some of them, I guess not like Latvia and Lithuania have mountain coasters, and then you have the plus one in Tallinn.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with the project, so I could imagine
I've
that
been
that
more
rail
into
existing
the more
could.
rail side of things. Like I have a video of riding all the trolley buses in Philadelphia, and next week we're doing something with the same guy again, with going from 30, trying to do various routes from 30th Street Station to Germantown. It's gonna be fun. I've been binging Jet Lag the Game, which is from same dude behind Half as Interesting and Wendover Productions. But yeah, I do have a little work to do now, so I am gonna head out and let other people come on and discuss stuff if they want to.
Alrighty. Yeah, I will say, yeah, I mean, I could certainly see something where you mentioned the rail. That's going to make certain places probably a lot more accessible to a lot more people.
Yeah, a
And
lot
so
of the
that's,
capital. I think one of the major airports is going to have a separate branch, I believe, from the high-speed line.
I was going to say that, like, I could see a world where these places get a lot more, like, just people visiting and whatnot. And yeah, that could certainly spark, like, some new coasters and some new, like, sort of amusement projects. So I could see that.
Yeah, like I was thinking, just one of the things that if you're thinking of going to Landmark, you could always just go down to Estonia for the plus one. You might need
Credit,
to
yeah.
read into a bit more being from the US, but I don't see why not, since that's still EU and most COVID precautions are behind us. So I wouldn't think there would be much difference if you just went to Estonia for less than 24 hours. Like, got the first ferry from Helsinki and then took the last ferry back or something.
Alrighty. Yeah, like I said, I mean, I wasn't aware of the rail, but I imagine it's gonna have pretty. I mean, it's gonna have implications for a lot of different things, and certainly, yeah, I could see more sort of projects being involved, and also like more people being able to do different things, so more easily. So yeah. Already. So, you said you had to work on stuff.
Yeah, I'm heading out.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Already, see ya. Alrighty. So, we have two more people here in the backstage. And so for me, it appears Coaster Dash came in here first. So Mark, I'll ask you if you're ready, and I'll do the same sort of thing, bring you in on a countdown. So that's sort of the plan. You can be on camera or not. Either way works. So and that's for anyone. So yeah, there you go. Alrighty, I'm gonna bring you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, how are you doing?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I'm recovering from Europe.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
You did a nut. Are you still in, or did you just fit? You did some sort of trip to Iceland, yeah?
Yes, I was in Iceland for a week as well. I'm back now. I've been back this is my second day back, and I've been doing a lot of procrastinating with homework and not really doing much. Just kind of grinding out videos and laying around.
All right.
But yeah, I'm enjoying being back because I'm just so exhausted. I've been traveling so much the past few months.
Yeah, I mean, I I've seen it. I've seen it on your stories and whatnot. It's like, wow, you're just really busy. It's crazy. So that's pretty cool. I guess I'll get to my first thing. Was there anything in terms of news or just anything that's happened in the amusement industry that's been interesting to you lately?
Well, I haven't been super up to date. However, there's two projects I've been keeping an eye on. The first one of which is this Intamin that they're building in Spain, which looks absolutely insane. I mean, I can't believe more people aren't talking about this. It really does look like some sort of variant on Velocicoaster. With the 3 launches, I think it's going to have like a shuttle element at the end. It looks amazing. And then the other project that I've been keeping an eye on is what they're doing with Dragster, because I mean, I don't know if you know, but it's one of my favorites. It's incredible. So I'm really curious to see what they do there.
Yeah, Dragster, we really don't know what the heck's gonna happen to it, and who knows how long it will be before we can get any sort of idea of what's going on. So that's certainly gonna be something to keep an eye on. It's also it's certainly up there in terms of the coasters I've ridden, so I can understand that. And the Parque Warner Madrid Intamin, I guess it's gonna be Batman themed.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they I think confirmed that. That coaster looks insane. So I can't wait to see like its first test runs and people ride it. It's gonna be
I
such a
can't wait
good
to
ride.
even see the layout. I mean, I don't even think anyone is fully aware of what the layout's going to look like in totality. So that I'm very excited. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That it's gonna be. Yeah, Velocicoaster 2.0 is certainly like a good sort of thing. It feels like in terms of a layout, it looks absolutely insane. So I could totally see that being like insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of, is there sort of, do you have any predictions of what you think we could see, or any things that you would like to see happen in the future, like either like in terms of like additions parks could get, or just anything like that?
Oh man, I don't know. I've been loving the way parks are. I don't know if anyone else has realized, but there's a lot of unique stuff happening recently. A lot of unique coaster additions and a lot of unique coaster refurbishments or updates. It's pretty odd, but we're getting a lot of it. Next year, I know there's like, for example, some of the ones you covered in your news segment. B&M launched wing in like Chessington. There's a B&M wing going to Legoland Deutschland. There's all sorts of weird stuff that, I mean, what the heck? So next season and the year after are just going to be very exciting years for the community, and I'm really excited to see what happens. But I have nothing in mind. I mean, anything that's announced, I'm into, because I've just been loving how unique it's been.
Yeah, for sure. The sort of the B&M, they're not full-fledged family coasters, but the more family-oriented coasters going to parks you wouldn't expect has been super interesting. And
Yeah.
the other interesting trend I think we've been seeing is sort of, and this has existed for a while, but it feels like we're seeing more and more of it, but parks sort of bringing back old attractions or paying homage to them in some way, like Zambezi Zinger we've seen, Wild Mouse at Cedar Point. We'll see what happens with Dragster, but perhaps that's something where they're gonna do something different there. So it's been very interesting to kind of see the sort of trends and changes in the industry for sure.
Yeah, Zambezi Zinger is another one that very unique.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty wild concept for sure. I was pretty shocked to see that's what it was, but I was like, wow, that's like so cool. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Is there anything else you would like to go into?
I'm not even keeping. I don't know if anyone's asking questions. I haven't actually looked at the chat in a while.
Let's see. Let's see. Oh, someone asked if you went to the Blue Lagoon in Iceland.
Yeah, yeah, that's obviously one of the very popular spots in Iceland. Yeah, so we went to a number of hot springs, and the Blue Lagoon is pretty legendary, and definitely lives up to the hype. It's glorious, very hot water. Yeah, it's incredible.
Dang. I don't even know if I've seen pictures of it, so I'm gonna need to look at it at some point.
The water is just like a turquoise. It's all natural. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that does sound
Iceland is just
crazy.
Iceland's another planet. It's a dreamscape. I don't understand how anything we saw was real.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen pictures of it, not probably necessarily the lagoon, but yeah, it looks pretty special. So I can, even if that's nature, it's not something that I do a ton of trips for, but certainly whenever you see like different things, it's certainly like really cool. I mean, I've done Yosemite at least, but I mean, I better have considering how close to it I am. So
Yeah, how close are you to Yosemite?
It's still like a while. It's still like I think 3-ish hours or something, just because of
Yeah.
how you have to get there. But yeah, I've done it at least.
Yeah, and it takes actually longer than it probably looks like in miles to get
Yep.
inside these national parks because all the roads are windy and stuff.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, but no, that's cool.
And then someone at Sanford Bridge asked, "How did Switzerland go?" And that he was a little concerned with your sleep in the car plane for the
That
country.
did not happen because Switzerland is like a lot. Like there's a lot of people everywhere in the towns. A lot of like there's just no way. Iceland was much more doable because Iceland, even though it is very much a first world country and the infrastructure is nice, there's very little of it. And it's very much a place that you could drive dozens and dozens of miles and not see a gas station or a restaurant. So you could literally pull off anywhere in Iceland and get away with it. In Switzerland, it's definitely much more difficult. And I mean, that's just something we do sometimes to save money. Also in Switzerland, it was a little too hot in the summer to do that, but Iceland, it was cold enough to where we had no problem. We also had a pop-up tent on the top of the vehicle, the rental vehicle, so it was fine for us.
Hey, whatever works. So
Yeah, no kidding. Because I mean, you know how expensive this trip probably was. It's crazy how expensive it ended up being.
yeah, but hey, it's cool things
Worth
to
it.
do, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
worth it.
absolutely. So and
Yeah.
then I think this is another one. Something about uh, asking about if you went to the Sky Lagoon.
Sky Lagoon. That doesn't ring a bell, but we did go to many hot springs, so I'm assuming that's a hot spring. And yeah,
Yeah, it
we did
is.
not
I
go to
just
this.
looked it up.
Yeah, okay. I think I've heard about that too. No, we did not go to the Sky Lagoon, but we did like a couple others around the country that were very, very nice and advanced.
Yeah, I mean, oh, I gotta get over. I have not done an overseas trip yet. Only international country I've been to is Mexico, which, to be fair, I've been to many times and in many different areas. So, that's been awesome. But certainly Europe is really anywhere. I'd be happy to go. My mom's
Yeah,
in
it's
Germany
amazing.
right now for a business trip, and I'm just like, oh man, I
Oh
would have
man.
loved to go. Yeah, but
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
well.
I absolutely love Germany. Yeah, it's a place that if you get the chance to visit, definitely do it. The parks are phenomenal. Phantasialand is the best park in Europe.
She's where she is like less than like 70 kilometers away from Fantasia Land, which probably hurt the most.
Yeah, that's oof. That's
Yeah,
yikes.
but she's in Dusseldorf, I think. So, yep. Let's see, and then one more thing, one really positive coaster surprise. I imagine on the Europe trip.
Yeah, yeah. Um, hmm. One really positive coaster surprise. Tornado at Bakken. Absolute madness in boost mode. That is just comical. Um, Also in the same park, Mine Train Ulven is like kind of insanely surprising. No one talks about that ride, but it's like really intense. What are some other surprises? A lot of the family coasters I did were very well done. Like a lot of the bobsled, wild mice things. Movie Park Studios had 2 indoor wild mice that I quite enjoyed. That was awesome. Oh, and I guess I should mention Ride to Happiness. It is my favorite coaster in the world, and I really was not expecting it to. I also noticed someone just asked biggest disappointment on the Europe trip. That one's easier to answer. There's 2 coasters that I rode that come to mind that just were not what I was expecting, but I still enjoy them. So the first one was Colossus at Haida Park, which I think I was under the impression that it would ride closer to Toro given its size. But it's really so you get through the first third. The first third is absolutely incredible. But then after the first third, the ride is just very, very underwhelming. It doesn't do anything. There's no forces. There's very little airtime. It's crawling. It's a
Interesting.
very strange ride. How good the first third is, and then the rest is just like trash. So that was weird. The other one is Terran at Phantasialand, which I still really like that ride. It's a top 50 coaster for sure. The theming's excellent. Layout's really fun and fluid, but the ride just does not feel intense at all. It is very much a family thrill coaster. There's nothing about it that's intense. It's more intense than something like Cheetah Hunt, but it's not by much, and certainly not anywhere close to as intense as Maverick. And I know a lot of people rank Terran near Maverick, and that just makes no sense to me. I got off and I was wondering, how in the world do people rank Terran close to Maverick? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I guess different preferences. I know the setting is excellent, so I think so. For me, I will say, even though I haven't ridden it, there are some coasters where the setting does make it for me, so I can understand it in that way, I guess. But
yeah, the theming is incredible. It's amazing.
But I mean, I'd have to ride Tron myself to have any idea. Although I think I rank Maverick a little lower than most. But
yeah, no, I mean, I still really like it, and I don't want to give the impression that I just didn't enjoy it. It's a fabulous ride. It's just like, I struggle to understand how some can even compare it to rides like Maverick or even Pantheon or any of these newer Intamins. No, definitely not.
That's fair. I guess going back to Tornado, you guys need to watch that video. That is insane. They were spinning that thing around before you even went. They physically and actually just spun the thing around a little bit before you guys went. That was crazy.
Yeah, I think the video is at 14,000 people or something like that have now seen my obnoxious screaming, because I thought I was gonna die. I thought that was the end of my life. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, man, I cannot believe they actually did that.
And if you notice,
crazy.
they didn't let us get off for 4 rides in a row, and every time it got progressively more intense. And after the second time they made us stay on, I was wondering, how in the world could it possibly be more intense than this? And they were like, oh, just wait. Just wait. The last ride we got on it was the most insane ride I've had on any coaster in the world. It was flat out too much. And I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And I know I'm going to spoil this because I just want to, just to give some reference. But my brother, who was on the trip with me the whole time, Tornado is in his top 5 coasters he's ever ridden. Which, to give some context, he was there when we rode Conda, Zadra, Ride to Happiness, Fly, all these rides that people rave about Tornado. He ranks Tornado above some of those rides. It's so funny to me. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It really is.
Yeah, it looks pretty dang crazy. So I know there's did you just ask for booster mode? I'm not sure how that works.
I don't know exactly how it happened, but I think, because I didn't ask, I had a GoPro chest mount on, and I was doing some commentary, right? So I was like, hey, this is our first ride on Tornado. And then I think it was the second ride. We came back later on to do it again. And I was like, all right, guys, this is our second ride. Let's see if it's more intense, because the spinning is going to be different every time. The ride ops overheard me. They stopped the loading section because it has a moving station, loading moving station. And they did something to the ride that I didn't even know existed. I didn't know boost mode existed at all. They did something underneath the train. They hit a button or something that just unlocked it, or I don't know. They went to the control booth and kind of disabled the mid-course trims. And then somehow they also, I think, sped up the lift launch, though that is, I can't confirm that. It kind of felt like a little faster though. And then the other thing they did was manually spin it out of the station, which was just hilarious and would definitely never happen in America. But they did that, and the ride was so ridiculous. The last ride we got on it was the only ride we got on Tornado with all 4 of those things. And a lot of people commented on that, saying that was the most insane ride they've ever seen on Tornado, above any of the POVs from Canopy Coaster, Coaster Studios, any of these other people that rode it. I don't know how we got so lucky, because we didn't even ask. And I think a lot of people have actually seen my video and have gone to Bakken and asked for boost mode. And I don't know if the sheer amount of people asking for boost mode is affecting how often they're going to be willing to do it. I really hope that's not the case, because I know one day if I returned, I would love to do it again. But yeah, I hope that's not the case. Yeah, so I mean, I don't blame any of you guys for wanting to try it. Quite honestly, it is one of the most memorable experiences you could have on a coaster, and I know a lot of you that are coming from far away would love to do it, and do it if you get the chance. But yeah, if it looks like it's a little bit busier and the line's longer, don't bother them, because I think that's when they don't want to. But they're going to feel bad if you come from far away. They're going to want to do it for you. Some of these ride ops are just so wholesome at Bakken, and they want to make your visit better. I'm sure they'll go out of your way no matter what, but try not to make it too inconvenient for them. And yeah, if you can, then definitely see if you can get on boost mode. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, obviously, if it's like super busy and whatnot, yeah, it's not really reasonable to expect that.
Yeah.
But
I noticed they let us stay on the train. I noticed because the line was so short.
yeah, all right, okay. I think that seems fair. But yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty. I think that'll wrap it up. But it's been awesome to have you on once again. So really appreciate you coming on. And if you have any sort of last things you want to say, now would be the time.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on. This is my first time on one of the viewer call-ins, so I'm sure I'll do it again at some point. And yeah, if you guys are curious to hear more about any of the European shenanigans that have been going on, then all sorts of vlog stuff on my channel. There's tons of countdowns coming up. I just finished one for Energylandia. There's many more coming. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, thanks for having me on once again. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely, you too. Yeah, so thank you so much for coming on, and have a great rest of your day.
You as well, man.
Alrighty. Mason's Coasters Thrills, you've been in here for a while, so I'm going to bring you on next. Same thing I've done with everyone else, ask if you're ready. And then I'll bring you on, so yep, that's going to be the plan. You ready? Oh, okay, alrighty. Alright, so I'll bring you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mason, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. And also, when you said what we're going to be doing, it glitched out. Can you say that one more time, please?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it glitched out.
I was just asking how you were doing. That's it.
No. So we're going to be...
so
before that.
Yeah, so basically it'll be like sort of reaction to news, and if you have any sort of predictions for the future. So, yeah.
Okay, it glitched out because there's not great Wi-Fi here.
That's all right. So I guess with that being said, do you have any sort of, is there any sort of reactions to the, or any sort of pieces of news recently that have caught your interest, and what are your thoughts on it?
The new SeaWorld coasters have definitely caught my interest for sure. I'm just like, after the pandemic, I don't really want SeaWorld to be adding several new coasters every year. I think like one new coaster every year is good enough. I don't think they need to be going crazy like 2020, adding like 5 new coasters in 1 year. I don't think they should be doing that. Honestly, the surf coaster doesn't look too good. I was expecting it to be like, you're gonna be like sitting down. I know it's a surf coaster and you should be like standing up and surfing, but I was expecting it to be like a sit down coaster, like a normal coaster, a normal B&M coaster launch, which is pretty interesting. But when I saw the animation and heard it was getting stand-up trains, I really wasn't excited at all. I even made a video on my channel because I was mad about it.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, my bad. Sorry, you go.
No, you go.
I was gonna say it was very interesting. Of course, it was sort of like a rumor that it perhaps would be a stand-up coaster, and I was a little like, is it really? And then it ended up being. I do understand why. I still am interested to see the actual announcement, because I'm curious how the park's gonna market it and different things, because we don't know the full story just quite yet. But yeah, it is certainly something that I think when everyone was hearing like, oh, B&M, they're gonna do their own take on like the launch coaster. I can see why people were like not exactly super enthused with a new generation stand up, which is basically what this is. So understandable.
Yeah, for sure. And oh my gosh, I forgot. I hate when I say something and then a minute later I forget. What was I about to say?
You're good. That happens to me all the time.
Let me. I need a second to think about it. Oh yeah, I thought their in the animation they did a couple months ago. I saw like in some part of the animation video they said the SeaWorld, the coaster capital of Orlando. I thought that's how they're gonna market it, which I was like, what? Like, I guess it is because Universal has Velocicoaster obviously. Disney opened Tron. It's about to open Tron and obviously opened Guardians of the Galaxy a couple months ago, but I guess SeaWorld's the best place for coasters in Orlando. But I wouldn't be like calling it that because I think Universal might have a little slight edge over them, a little.
I think it depends on how you look at it. SeaWorld, I think out of all the parks, if you just look at one singular park where you just pay one admission for, I think SeaWorld has the best coaster lineup just out of all the individual parks. Or at least I think many would argue. It is kind of a funny title though because it's like just coaster capital of Orlando. That's it. Just Orlando, not like Florida or anything. Well, Busch Gardens exists obviously, but like I do kind of I do find it kind of funny. So I did think that was interesting.
Yeah, I was like, I was a little cringy about it. Like, what? What were you gonna? Oh yeah, the launch coast, the launch motor. Is it a launch motorbike coaster going to SeaWorld San Diego? I think.
We don't. It's assumed to be, but I don't believe we actually know what the vehicles are like for certain. So that's still to be determined.
Well, I think it's gonna be like Wavebreaker, and I'm actually more excited for this ride than the other one because I went in Wavebreaker, and controversial opinions, I really like it. And I know Airtype Girl said this ride is incredibly boring. Well, if you look, I mean, it's fun on the ride. If you pretend you're surfing, you're on a jet ski. I didn't mean surfing. I mean, pretend you're on a jet ski and you're turning over the water. It's really fun. It's not about the thrill. It's just about the overall experience of it, and I like it. I think it's gonna be similar. That's why I thought it would have motorbike trains. That's why.
My guess is it probably will, and I am curious how it's gonna be like the whole overall package. That's why I'm really hoping it is rumored to be announced next week. I'm really hoping it is because I am excited for it as well. It's a park I need to revisit, so I'm definitely excited for it. I have not done Wavebreaker myself, but I do. It does seem pretty cool because it has the sort of jet ski or sort of trains. I think it does have the handlebars on it, so you can like put your hands on it. I'm pretty sure, and like you're over the water too, which is pretty cool. So I certainly think it's probably one that is a very enjoyable ride. So I certainly am excited to check it out whenever. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting ride to see what happens with it when it gets revealed.
And I'm sorry about background noise. My dad
You're good.
is watching basketball or some sports. I don't know. The NBA. I don't know what season it is. I'm not into sports, but if you hear him talking, that's what it is.
You're good.
Just a little disclaimer.
We got a question in the chat for your top 3 favorite coasters. Oh shoot. Mason, you still there? All right, I'll wait a little bit. I don't know if that was accidental, that he accidentally ended up exiting out. All right, there we go. All right, I figured something that probably accidentally exited out. All right. Are you ready to come back? All right, great. All right.
Okay, sorry about that. I accidentally closed the tab. Right.
Yeah, and I've done that before. That happens. No.
Yeah. Yeah. The audio went out like an hour ago. when you're starting the news, it happened. That's what happened. Um, what were we
Top three
talking about?
coasters was
Huh?
someone
Oh,
asked your top three favorite coasters.
my top 3 favorite roller coasters. Everyone's gonna be mad at me. Okay. First, a disclaimer. I've only been to the 2 Six Flags. Oh, the 3 major Texas parks: Frontier City, Island of Adventure, and Universal Studios, Florida. But I've not ridden any of the. I've only ridden 3 roller coasters there. That's Gringotts, Flight of the Hippogriff, and Hagrid's. So
Okay.
I've not ridden the Velocicoaster Hulk because I was a little scared of roller coasters at the time. But a year later,
Understandable.
I'm an enthusiast. So 3. Okay, so my top 3 probably New Texas Giants, number 1.
All
I
right.
rode that 2 months ago. The airtime, so good. I think it has really good airtime. And on the, oh my god. So that's really good airtime. I love how it's a longer RMC. And I think it's pretty good for RMC's first coaster, for sure. And then my number 2 would be Iron Rattler, for sure. That used to be my number 1 for a couple months. Iron Rattler, it's an awesome ride. I love the drop off at the quarry wall, the highlight of the ride. And I have a tickly spot. Hold on.
You're good.
Okay, so I love the first drop. I love the death roll. I think it has a couple great airtime moments. I think when you're coming off the quarry wall for the last time, I think that's the best airtime moment on the ride. And I love that experience going down the drop, for sure. I wish I could get more rides on it. I only got 2 rides on it because it was flipping crowded.
Yeah, and what's your third?
My third, Steel Eel at Cerro San Antonio. Steel Eel.
Nice.
Yeah,
I think that looks underrated.
Yeah, it's definitely really underrated. It has great airtime. I like. Okay, so my restraint was so loose that I could literally stand up. Literally, I could stand up.
Yeah, the Morgan coasters are pretty wild. Or, well, not all of them, but certain ones are. So yeah, I could see that.
Definitely certain ones, but I like on the finale. Airtime Thrills said those are weak and they don't provide any airtime. That's not true, but it might be because I'm only 10 years old and I'm not. Maybe that's because I'm only 10 years old and I get more airtime on rides, but like maybe that's the reason why he says that. But I think it has a lot of airtime.
I think it depends on how it rides. I've heard from different people that the ending and certain portions provide more airtime than other people have said, so I think it sort of depends.
Yeah, it depends. So yeah. So hold on. So I think one more announcement, and then I think I'm like, how many? Okay, I think how many more announcements are we gonna talk about?
Pretty much it was like sort of if you have any you want to go through, that's like pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not like picking specific ones.
I actually have a question for you.
Okay.
What? Okay. Are you an ACE member?
No, I've actually never been part of a coaster enthusiast club. That might change. I probably won't go ACE, but I'm not part of a club currently, but I know a lot of people who are.
Yeah, for sure. And then I went to an ACE event at Frontier City, and I won some prizes last week.
Oh, nice.
I won some prizes. I don't have them right now, but it was really luck because you get these little tickets and they call out a number, and if you have the number on the ticket, you win a basket of prizes. It was actually kind of lucky. I was lucky.
What was the prizes? I'm curious.
They had a Frontier City blanket. They had a Frontier City hat, I'm pretty sure. What else did they have? What? You can speak out loud.
A cup.
There was a cup.
And a keychain.
And a keychain.
That's a pretty good haul there. So yeah, that's good.
and I did my first rides on Diamondback, 41 credit. Diamondback's also really fun. I actually have a little so on the before we were about to launch, the ride operator, because he knew we were all coaster enthusiasts, he asked us a question: name us the 3 aerial shuttle loops in the world. No one talked, so I was like, okay, this is my chance. And then I named it, and then everyone's like, oh my gosh, great job! Oh my gosh, great job! Oh my gosh, great job!
That's good. I'm surprised. I would have figured at an ACE event, it would have been like more people would have been like super quick to try to answer questions, but I've never been, so I wouldn't know. So, but that's definitely
Yeah.
really good.
It was really surprising. I found more people would like answer like quick, for sure. So yeah, I'm really excited to see that new content. And you remember how I messaged you on Discord?
Yeah, yes.
So that's the secret project's probably gonna be like in 2 weeks. So I'm taking a little break from YouTube, but when I get back, we can do that.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
never. Oh, I guess I can't go into it, but I want to expand content, and I was like you once, wanting to like work with other people. So, hey.
Yeah, I want to get my name out there.
Exactly. And actually, I'll put this out there too for anyone who's watching this. If you want to do a collab with me or you want to do a project with me, let me know. I'm a lot more willing to do that. So, I just wanted to make that known. But yeah. So,
Maybe hearing that gives me a lot more motivation to do YouTube. So I'm probably, when I get back to my house, I'm probably gonna start working on a video. I've happily finished editing a video, so I'll probably finish that, upload that, and then we can talk more about that collab, and we could possibly do it.
already sounds good.
Sounds good. So I think I'm gonna get off now. I'm really cold and sweaty at the same time. So Mason's Coaster Frills
good.
out.
Already see ya.
Bye.
Alrighty, so we have let's see, I think we have Connor Owens. So I'm gonna bring you on if you're ready. So I'll just ask in the chat and then you answer. There you go. But yeah, I am wanting, so like back when, obviously me doing Coaster Time right, I had to reach out to different people to get it started. And there's other people who, they want to work with other people or they want to get out there. And obviously people doing that for me was a big thing. So I want to kind of give that back and do some different type of content I haven't really done before. So I think this is a really good opportunity. So as I mentioned, if anyone wants to work with me on a collaboration or a project, you can email me or DM me on Instagram, and I'll let you know if I can do that and what can be done. I have never really done collaborations for anyone else before, so it's also a completely new territory for me. But yeah, I actually should have put that in the announcement, so I'm very happy that Mason mentioned that. So there you go. Connor Owens, are you Skyrish fanboy or I'm confused? Okay, got it. All right, that helps. All right, that's good. But yeah, already. So I'm gonna bring you on in 5, 4. Yes, you can keep your camera off. I'll start the countdown again. I'll bring you on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How are you doing? Oh, actually, I think I picked the wrong one. Hold up, I'm gonna do it this way. Skyrish fanboy, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. So as I've done with everyone else who's come on, was there any pieces of news or anything that happened recently that caught your attention?
I am a Hershey Park local. I live right next to Hershey Park. So I was talking about the Wildcat track getting removed. So like, yeah, and and I saw a bunch of RMC workers out inspecting at Hershey Park and inspecting Wildcat's layout to like see like what the layout's gonna be like maybe and how it's gonna be designed.
Yeah, I didn't mention that here, but I do know, yeah, there's like a ton of work, and yeah, Stamford Bridge said it best. That's an amazing home park to have. Or local park to have.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
one of my all-time favorites, so that's awesome. But yeah, there's like a ton of work going on over there, and so that's exciting that you're able to see that, and so yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and the other thing is the what was I gonna say again? I feel like it's gonna be done by probably Labor Day by next year, because they're showing that it could be done fast because they're doing quick work.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, I'm really curious when the announcement is going to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know when it's gonna be. I assume probably after the Halloween event it's been done, but I'm curious. I really hope they do a live reaction where they like have a stream online.
Yeah. And
Because I'd
maybe
love to react to that one.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a little bit of a later announcement because with Wildcat shutting down, they posted lots and lots of rumors before they actually shut it down. So I feel like that they might do that for the RMC too.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to monitor that for sure, but obviously extremely exciting.
I've been going there a lot of time now, like especially around this time because now that I'm a coaster enthusiast, I visit it a lot. I try to get my rides in on it. And
Your audio's going a little, getting a little iffy. So could you repeat that?
Yeah, I've been trying to get a lot of rides in at Hershey Park. I've been going a lot lately because now I'm a coaster enthusiast. So yeah.
We actually have a question in the chat. What are your top 3 rides at Hershey Park?
Sky Rush, Fahrenheit, Storm Runner.
Nice. I have that same order except just flip around Storm Runner and Fahrenheit, and there you go. But everyone's different, so that's cool.
Pandemonium really blew me away on the first ride. I loved it. But then it started... I've ridden it about 30 times now, and it's gone down in the rankings a little bit. Because I feel like that's this thing with most of the B&M hypers out there.
Yeah, I haven't done Candemonium. I'm curious to see what I'll think of it because I didn't love Diamondback, but I did like Goliath. I do think it's a little somewhere in between those two, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but Candemonium isn't nearly as tense as Goliath, but I haven't been on Goliath yet, so I can't fully judge around Goliath. But it looks really fun with the floater airtime and a little bit of ejector maybe, and that double helix.
Yeah, you pretty much covered it exactly. So, yeah, it is very good.
I heard that people were saying it's a little shaky and rough, but I mean...
It does have a rattle to it, yes, but yeah.
I mean, with Wildcat, though, I just had fun on it. I get past the roughness on coasters easily.
Yeah, I only got one back row ride on that early in the morning, and that was not great.
Yeah.
I was really hoping I'd ride it again in the front, but I didn't get the chance to, so oh well, but excited to see what's coming next.
Yeah. In 2 weeks, or actually, no, less than 2 weeks, I'll be out in Dollywood.
Oh, that's sick. That part's so good. You're going to
get a bunch of rides on Lightning Rod.
Yeah, weather permitting, it's a fantastic park. The only issue is, weather is...
Yeah.
You got to get a little lucky with it, but as long as that goes well, you're in for a good time. So it's an awesome park.
And Wild Eagle will be my first ever wing coaster, so that'll be nice.
Nice.
and then grab all the credits there.
Nice.
I'm trying to get.
Oh wait, sorry, you go.
No, you can go.
I was just gonna. You should finish because someone asked a question. So and then we'll get to that afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm gonna grab all the credits there. I'm trying to get Steel Vengeance to be my number 100. I'm at number 68 right now. So, yeah. And then hopefully I can get a couple of Alpine Coaster credits up there too. I'm hoping.
Yeah, I did not do those because they're pretty expensive. So just
Yeah,
fair warning.
I heard about that.
But if you're willing to do it, I'm sure they're cool. I didn't do any of those, but
Yeah.
I'm sure they're really cool. So
I haven't done an Alpine yet.
me either. I am not. I saw a bunch of them, but I didn't actually do one. But yeah. So Sanford Bridge asked, "What's your favorite month to visit Hershey Park?"
Probably July, because if you go in July, you can fit quite a lot in with, you can spend, so they have so much to do there. They have Hershey Gardens, Hershey Shock World, obviously Hershey Park. So if you can find like a hotel nearby, then stay in it, like Hershey Lodge or something, stay in it for like 3 days to take it all in. It's like, you can have a day for Hershey Park, check out the water park there too, go to Hershey Gardens, and just explore Hershey and even Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it was crazy to me when I went because I knew Hershey Park. They had the park, they had the zoo, which I didn't even get to do. It was
The
on my
zoo's
thing,
pretty
but
cool.
I
like
was
the zoo.
yeah, I wasn't even able to do it, and the only part of Chocolate World I did was the dark ride at the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot to do, so I think multiple days could definitely make sense there.
One day,
And
a couple
July
months
seems to be
ago.
good.
One day, a couple months ago. I went to the Chocolate World and I just lapped the dark ride for some free chocolate because I felt like it.
Nice.
I wanted some chocolate. Have you been to Fiesta, Texas yet?
No, I have not even been to like Texas in general, which is crazy because I'm not that far from there. It just has not happened, but it will at some point.
That sucks. I'm going to Fiesta, Texas soon. They have a pretty stacked lineup, especially that they just got the cliffhanger. Diabolical cliffhanger, yeah.
It
I wanna
looks
see
like such
where-
a good park. Yeah.
I can't wait to see where Rattler ranks in my RMCs. I've only done 3 so far, but I've done Wicked Cyclone. Dang, I forgot the other ones because I was like 8 when I rode them.
Ah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, but let's talk about Top Thrill Dragster. Do you think it's gonna get an LSM? I think it is.
I used to think that the more and more stuff I see, the more and more I'm leaning towards like I know they said it's being it was a reimagined ride experience. I know they are saying that it's gone as we know it, but the more and more things I see, the more and more I think it's like legitimately going to be removed, and whatever they replace it with will just sort of pay homage to it in some way. But
Yeah.
an LSM launch is not off the table. I will say that. I'm a lot more, I suppose, pessimistic about that than most, but I was pessimistic about RMC Wildcat, and that worked
Now it's
out. I
coming.
mean, that's happening. So
Okay, there's one way or another. It's either getting ripped to the ground or it's getting RMC'd. I think it's getting RMC'd for sure.
well, no, we know now that Wildcat's getting RMC'd because there's people
Yeah.
inside and everything, so we already know. But
And there's already packages from Rocky Mountain Construction, like big white packages. If you saw Hershey Park Enthusiast video,
yeah.
there's big white packages from Rocky Mountain Construction in the employee parking lot.
Yeah, I mean, I've Hershey Park Enthusiast is for those of you who want to like sort of follow Wildcat, like the little updates. Great channel to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been seeing that, so very exciting. Obviously, we have another question actually about from Sanford Bridge, who was asking if you like the Reese's Cup. I think Fusion.
Yeah.
Right. I think before.
Cup
I think
Fusion,
that's
yeah.
before. Was that before or after they did the redo?
It was after, yeah. That's the
Oh,
name.
okay.
Yeah, but it's a really cool ride. It has amazing smelling scents. That's what I love about it. And it's really fun. It's easy to pull the trigger, and there's like good targets. It's really interactive, and at the end there's a big jump scare which scared me on my first ride on the ride. So yeah. But that day we won a fast track, and we spent it on this ride because it was a really rainy day, so Candemonium most of the day was shut down, although we would have done Candemonium for a fast track ride. So yeah, I really like it. I mean, it's a really good flat ride. It's probably one of the best shooters out there.
Yeah, I didn't even. It was still the old version, whatever it was. I think the Reese's Cup Challenge or whatever.
Yeah.
It was still that when I went, and I didn't even do it. My brother and my mom did it apparently. I did not.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny, but it looks fun just from little bits I've seen it from it. So I'll definitely have to check it out whenever I go back, which is hopefully sooner rather than later. But who knows?
Yeah. I really do like the theming of Reese's Cup, Cup Fusion, sorry. I really like the theming of it with like the Misfits and stuff. The Misfit candy.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I like that. Like how it's like they have these like sort of misfit or like bad candies.
Yeah.
So
I have a question. Did you try one of the milkshakes at Simply Chocolate? One of the king size milkshakes?
no, I know it's like a sin almost to not do that when you're there. It's such a big thing. I tried like the bubbles drink they had there, which was really weird.
Those are really good too.
Yeah, no, it was good, but it was like it was pretty weird. But no, I didn't try the milkshakes. That's another thing that I'll have to do the next time I'm there. It's just I don't. I mean, do they even have like a small size for one of those? Because I cannot get a whole one is the problem, because that would just be too much for me.
Yeah, you
Like a
can't get
big
a whole
one.
one without splitting it with somebody. That's
Yeah.
a bonus.
Or yeah, that too. That could also work, I suppose.
I got it once. I got the chocolate one, and it was too rich for me to. Well, I did very much enjoy it, but it was too rich for me to like drink the entire thing.
Yeah, those look like pretty heavy, so I'm just like, yeah, probably not great. If I'm like trying to like ride all these things, it's like it probably won't work for me to drink the whole thing, but I'm sure it's really good.
I think I like the chocolate milkshake at the chocolate tier better than the other one.
Interesting. Okay. Alrighty. So, is there anything? Oh wait. Okay, Did I?
So, what do you think the next Six Flags coaster is going to be?
The next what coaster?
Six Flags.
Oh, they are not really seemingly doing a whole lot, so, and it seems like they're probably not going to be adding anything for a little while, so I have, like, no prediction there, because we simply do not know. The new CEO doesn't, like, he's basically laid out that new rides are not his priority for the next 2 to 3 years, so I don't know if that means we're literally getting nothing for that amount of time. I'm going to assume it is until we see anything that disproves that, but because of that, I have like no idea of what we could see. So
I'm still trying to wonder when the Aquaman Power Wave is going to be opening.
They're saying next year. They are testing it. I think it will actually open next year because, I mean, they're testing. I think they're making sure that it will absolutely open next year because I think the last few years they've kind of been like, oh, we'll just push it back another year, and then they get late on working on it. But I think they're gonna have almost everything done, by like even like probably like spring of next year. So
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, they have most of it done already, but yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Do
Alrighty.
you think Europa Park or Energylandia will take over Magic Mountain in coasters lately?
Energylandia will almost certainly.
Yeah.
It just give them like 2 to 4 years and they'll get there. Europa Park, no, I don't think so. They're getting stuff, but I don't think they're getting stuff at the rate needed to overtake it for a while.
Yeah.
But Energylandia, yeah, probably.
I actually got to ride 101 Flight of Courage on opening day.
Oh, really? Wait, opening or preview or pass holder preview?
Opening.
Nice.
And I think it's my least favorite single rail coaster. Although I've only ridden one other one, which is the Jersey Devil.
Yeah, out of the RMC coasters I've ridden, I found that Flight of Courage was my least favorite. I rode it on preview day. I was actually the first person to ride because I outran everybody.
Wow. Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, but because of that, I got a front row ride, which is still, like, it's cool, but I mean, it's supposed to be better in the back row. And it was, like, literally the first ride with people for the day, so it was running, like, super sluggish, and that's all I got. I'll probably rewrite it later this year, so it'll probably rise a little bit, but it was my least favorite RMC I've done, which wasn't surprising. I didn't have super high expectations for it, but it's still a really fun ride. Good airtime, not super intense, which I think for Magic Mountain is good because they have so many coasters that are either really intense or have like a really intense moment. So
Yeah, definitely.
I think that fits in pretty well.
Sure. Yeah. What do you think the future of El Toro is going to be?
I think it's Great Adventure has to invest what they need to fix it, and they better do it right. And it'll probably reopen next year because that's still what they're saying is going to happen. So I have no reason to believe it's not. So I think that's just going to be what happens.
Yeah, I don't know why people are saying they need to RMC it, because why would they want to RMC an already world-class coaster?
If it made sense, I'm not sure. I don't think it. The problem is, I don't think it fixes structure issues. I think they just need to, like,
They have
what's
to
the right
fix
word?
pothole.
Well, that, and they probably have to reinforce some parts of the structure. But if it, for whatever reason, made sense, if they, like, I could see a world where maybe they would put steel track on it. But, I mean, I don't think they'd change the layout. But I don't think that really makes a whole lot of sense with what seemingly the changes that are needed are going to be. So
Yeah. The company that they hired last time to fix the track, I heard didn't do a very good job doing it. So, yeah. They're going to have to probably get a new company to do it this time.
I'm not sure if that's true because the track wasn't involved with this
Yeah, last time it was a
most recent
derailment,
accident.
right?
Yeah, so it had more to do with the structure. So that's a completely different issue. So, well, although they might have to retrack certain sections. So I don't know exactly what's going on there in its entirety, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Do you have top 5 coasters?
Yeah, I'm going to like hold off because I actually want to make a video on it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, but yeah, but I guess with that being said, is there anything else you wanted to go into before we wrap this up?
Let me think here. My first time at Kennywood was the other day, and I really liked it. Kennywood was really good.
Good to hear. I've heard mixed things on it, but it seems like it has the potential to be an awesome park, so that's great to hear.
Phantom Revenge's lap bar system is so weird because you pull it down from the side. I don't know what they were thinking about that, but I mean, it makes sense because, like, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the reason it gives amazing airtime, though, because it's, like, such a restricting lap bar. It barely even touches your waist.
Yeah, it the Morgan trains I like the
Yeah. They're really
lap
good.
bars they use. So
Morgans are underrated.
I've only done 2, but I would say both coasters are, although Superman Ultimo Escape is getting hype now, so I don't know if I'd say it's completely underrated anymore, but yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. I didn't get to ride Steel Curtain, but it's okay.
Yeah, that one's super tricky to ride. I'm just horrified whenever I get over there. I really am hoping it's open.
Yeah.
Because it's to go from California to Kennywood, not easy. So that would be a pretty massive shame if it wasn't open. But I know for a lot of people that's been the issue. So
Yeah, and the other day also I got to ride Steel Force. That was my second. That was my. Wait, no, that was my first because I rode Phantom Revenge after Steel Force. But I was out in Dorney. I did the water park there. That was fun. And I got to ride Talon. I got to ride Jackrabbit and Steel Force. That was it.
very good. Yeah, that's good. So yeah. Alrighty.
I also got to ride Hydra too.
Yeah, Hydra. Yeah, Hydra looks pretty fun. Definitely like very unique. So that's awesome.
It's one of the better Floridas.
Yeah, it looks really cool. But I think with that being said, I think that's gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming on, and
yeah, you bet.
yeah, it's been nice having you on. So thank you for coming on, and have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Alrighty. And I think that'll lead us to our last viewer calling in, Powerful Coasters. Are you ready? Powerful Coasters, you ready? I just put a ready in the private chat if you haven't seen it. I'm waiting for an answer there. And then once you answer that, I'll do like the 5-second countdown. Alrighty, there we go. Alrighty, so I'm gonna bring you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Powerful Coasters, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Alright, good. Great to hear. So I guess I'll start off with the first question, or the first sort of thing. Was there any sort of news topics or news things that happened that caught your interest recently?
I mean, the MC wine cat thing is pretty cool.
Say that again?
The MC wine cat thing is pretty cool.
Yeah. Is there any other things?
Yeah. Like ArieForce Park, there also is a Big Dipper coming nobody is talking about.
RMC Wildcat. Yeah. There's some pretty good projects going on, so that's good.
Yes.
I guess Europa Park Big Dipper. Oh yeah, that I didn't cover that here, but yes, it's a huge project, of course. So yeah, that's obviously something that is going to be pretty exciting. So, what are your thoughts on that, the Big Dipper?
I mean, I think it's a great addition. It definitely looks more intense than Blue Fire.
Yeah, I would say it's more intense than Blue Fire, so certainly.
Yeah, I don't really like Blue Fire. I think it's a pretty overrated coaster.
Yeah, I have not ridden it, obviously. I'd love to go to Europa Park. It looks awesome. But
Yeah.
I've certainly heard people who share the same sort of sentiment.
Yes, I am one of those that hate it.
Yeah, so what are your, someone was asking, Mrs. Banana Girl was asking, your top 3 coasters, and if you are from Germany.
I'm from Denmark, so close to Germany, but my top 3 coasters is 1 Expedition GeForce, and 2 Kanan at Hansa Park, and 3 Nick Coaster.
Oh, that's a really nice top 3. All of those are like, oh man, Light Coaster. I mean, that coaster, I don't know why, but the more and more I hear about Light Coaster, it just like, the more and more I want to ride it. It just is apparently that insane. And it also,
Yes,
yeah.
it's very intense. The pacing is insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've heard about it. And then Karanon's another one that is very unique. I really want to check that out. And then Expedition GeForce. Yeah, that's one I'm hearing more and more good things about. So that's nice to hear.
Yes, I definitely think the first one is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. And then someone else was asking your top 3 coasters in Denmark.
That is 1 Tornado at Bakken, and 2 Phoenix, and 3 Piraten.
Nice. And so that also answers if you've been on Tornado. So
Yes.
there you go. Yeah, and that coaster looks insane. And Phoenix, all 3 of those look really good. Phoenix is super cool, and it is one that also looks super cool. And I'm happy to have done the interview with the CEO of Farup a while back. That was he was a really nice guy, so that was really cool. But that coaster looks awesome, so that's awesome that you've done it.
And fun fact, I was at like media day event, and then I was the first one to ride it in the front row.
So I guess someone also was asking, have you done boost mode on Tornado?
Actually, no, cause like it was really known before, like coaster this is product basically, and I haven't been to back in a few months, maybe a handful or something.
Yeah, it seemed the ride that Coaster Dash got was like insane. I had never seen that happen, so I can't imagine that a ton of people have done that.
No.
And then Mrs. Banana Girl also was asking if you prefer Farup or Jers Summerland.
Actually, because the top 3 is definitely better there, I think. Fangen is actually a really underrated wooden coaster too, and Nuno is really good and underrated too.
Yeah, Farup looks super cool because, I mean, the coasters look good, and then the whole forest setting is like awesome. So
Yes.
And then Samford Bridge was asking if you like Rouge. Oh boy, I'm gonna butcher this. Rouge Banon at Tivoli Gardens.
I think it's a very good coaster too. Yes, definitely one of the better in Denmark. Yes, it definitely has some standing airtime in the break row.
Yeah, the airtime on it looks pretty good, and it's such a unique like coaster that that I definitely want to check out at some point. So I imagine it's pretty good.
Yes, it's definitely crazy. It's from 1914.
Yeah, it's like just super old too, as you mentioned. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Was there anything else you wanted to go into, or any other news, or any other things you wanted to mention?
I don't really know actually.
That's all right.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. It's awesome to get someone who's from somewhere that I don't know that many people from. So from Denmark, that's awesome. So I really appreciate you coming on here. And if you have any last things you would like to say, now would be the opportunity.
Yes, it was really fun to come on this. And yeah.
Alrighty, thank you so much for coming on, and have a great rest of your day.
Yes, you too.
Alrighty. And that'll wrap it up for the viewer call-ins. Thank you to everyone who participated and, of course, is watching. Really cool to do it. And I don't know when the next one will be. I thought for sure that I was going to keep these on Friday nights, but now I'm a little like, maybe not. So that was very good. So there we have it. For sure. So with that being said, I'm going to do an end of stream Q&A, probably about 10 minutes. We have reached, actually, no, we have not reached 3 hours because I started a little late, later than expected. But any last questions you have for me, let me know. Once again, I also went to Disney California Adventure since the last stream, so if you have any questions related to that, let me know. But also just any questions in general, let me know. And that'll be that. So right now it is 4:05 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be ending. I'll probably end it at like 4:15 Eastern. So yeah. So any last questions you have, let me know, and that will be that. My current favorite course, yeah. Probably film 2. I'm taking 4 courses. I think I went through them. Political science, film 2, and then along with that, I am taking elementary statistics and anthropology. So yes, but out of those, I'd say film 2. But I think anthropology is going to get interesting once we go into... It's kind of combining the sort of biological and cultural parts of it, but we've been more in the biological parts of it for the first half. So yeah, that's going to be... I think it's going to be more of interest to me in the future. So yeah. Will Coaster Dash be on the next Coaster Time? I actually have not determined yet who's coming on next, so I really don't know. Which is a little weird because usually I have it planned out pretty far ahead, but as of late that has just not been the case. So I'm not really sure. I definitely want to bring him back up on at some point. I think technically he has come on pretty recently in terms of guests I've had, so I probably will be going with someone else for like the next episode. But of course, I would love to bring him back on. So as long as he's willing, he'll be returning. I can say that much at some point. What do I think is Secret Weapon 9 at Alton Towers? It doesn't seem like this indoor attraction thing is Secret Weapon 9 because they did not refer to it as such. So, Project Horizon, I think that's a completely different project. It doesn't seem like it's a coaster. I think Secret Weapon 9 will be a coaster. And I could... It's very interesting. I could see... I think I'm very much between 3 sort of options. And I could see an SNS Axis. Someone's got to get one eventually, right? Hopefully. I don't know. So there maybe that B&M Surf, that can be pretty low to the ground. That could also potentially work. And then a Mach Extreme Spinner. We've seen what they can do with like Time Traveler. As long as you can like build trenches and build it into the ground, it's certainly a doable coaster. So I think one of those three will end up being either SNS Axis, B&M Surf, or Mach Extreme Spinner. And I think I'm leaning towards, if I had to guess out of all of them, I think the SNS Axis could certainly be it. I feel like that would certainly be a coaster that would fit well at Alton Towers. But yeah, Coaster Studios was already back in the US, but you were waiting for Coaster Studios and Coaster Dash to run into each other. It's pretty wild. There were quite a few people, it felt like, that went to Europe. I'd like to say Coaster Dash did. I know Coaster Studios did. I mean, well, yeah, Coaster Dash and Coaster Studios did, obviously. I would like to say Amusement Insider did as well. And I feel like there's someone else who I'm forgetting who also did. But it felt like there was a decent amount of people who are from the US who did that, so that's cool. Any vague possible coaster plans for next summer? Well, one thing I'm potentially interested in is doing Hollywood Nights next year, even though I just did Holiday World this year. I really want to do Voyage at Night, so that's something that could happen, but we'll see. That's still very much up in the air. But my idea with that would be I would do Hollywood Nights, and I would also be able to do Kentucky Kingdom, flying through Louisville, do Kentucky Kingdom, do Hollywood Nights, and that would be the plan. That was something I was considering, but even that is far from a guarantee, especially if they do the same thing where they limit attendance, which in a way I actually kind of hope they do, even though that might be an unpopular opinion. I'd be okay of like missing it a year or two if it meant I got a better experience, I suppose. And I know there's been some issues they've dealt with in previous years. So yeah, I mean, of course I have to become part of a coaster club, but I have some ideas of where to go with that. So have I ever? So I think I can mention it now. At this point, I don't like going into like previous guests, sort of like who I've invited, who I haven't, but I'll do it in this case just because it's been so long ago that I think I can, and it's fine, and no disrespect in this way, but I actually reached out to Taylor a long while back. I'd like to say it was during it was early 2021, I would like to say, so a long time ago. So yes, I have thought about getting Taylor on, and at that point they're just I reached out, he politely declined, but he wasn't really interested, so that sort of happened. And I think for now I'm just, I don't know. I haven't really thought about Coaster Studios recently, so but I do know that a lot of people have requested, so I do understand that. But as of right now, that's not. I'm still really, I guess, sort of. We'll see what happens with the next few guests. Like I said, I'm not planning as far ahead as I had previously in terms of the Coaster Time streams, because oftentimes I'd do one stream and then I'd have either a pretty good idea or have confirmed the next person who I have. And, it's probably better that I keep it like that, I do that, just so it's like I can keep things moving. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I just wouldn't expect a Coaster Studios thing anytime soon. It's, I think, basically what I'm trying to get at. But yeah. Alrighty, so It's 1:13, 4:13 Eastern. Any last questions? Let me know. Actually, if you have any guest suggestions, you can just let me know. Either new guests or returning guests. It's always good for me to know, especially right now because I'm up in the air. I also, of course, am still going to accept requests, of course, and for anyone interested as well. Anyone who is wanting to come on Coaster Time and you want to, you can do the request form. I'm still going to be accepting people that way as well. So, and of course, if you've already done it before, you don't need to do it again. I've had a few people do it repeated times. I think I've been a little vague on that, but if you've done it once, you're good. So you're not hurting yourself by doing it multiple times. So, there you go. Extreme Thrills would be a good guest. Yeah. Man. Yeah, I want that to happen at some point. For sure. Absolutely. That's certainly a good suggestion. Amusement Insider, another good one. So once again, very good to have these suggestions, just so I have some more ideas. It's very good to have. So yeah, I'm gonna say no on Rob Alvey. I'm gonna shoot that one down pretty quick. Yeah, no. There's no way he'd ever come on, and there's no way I'd ever bring him on, which is kind of rude. But I'm not the only one who's of that opinion, I suppose. So there you go. That's just simply not happening. But yeah. He could come on and insult everyone. Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. Oh man. Dude, I don't think we could get away like this. The problem is there'd be so many like Starbucks and Hurricane jokes. Dude, there'd be so much of that. I mean, I'd have to refrain myself from saying anything because that's so funny. I mean, it's not what he said was not funny, but making fun of it for him is kind of is. If you don't know that story, you can find it on like forum or Twitter, probably YouTube videos. Someone's talked about it certainly. I don't want to go into the whole thing, but yeah, it's a interesting piece of coaster lore, I suppose. And I think on that note, I'm gonna wrap it up. Huge thanks to everybody for coming on, for everyone who came on for the viewer call-ins, and of course everyone who's watching either live or after. Really appreciate you watching. And with all of that said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time here on Coaster Hour. See you guys.